Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and every one of you special snowflakes and that technicolor rainbow in between, thank you for tuning in to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast.
Yeah.
That is I Want to Know Adam.
Yo.
And I am. And thank you so much for tuning in. This is Sunday, June 9th, episode 75.
I can't believe you're not like, and I am.
Well, I left my name blank, but
Yeah,
if you really want to know who I am, I'm Topher.
Oh, that was funny. It sounded like a glitch or something.
No, I didn't put a name in.
All right, so it says, for those that are not watching the show, it says this box left blank.
Yeah, like I said,
it's like those papers, right? There are like this page left intentionally blank.
Right, exactly.
And what are those for? Just because
they got to stuff those envelopes, man. Make them look nice and thick.
Yeah. Well, cool. So, how was your week so far?
Good. Taking care of business, both personal and in my professional life. Taking care of UAP business in my time in between. And I'm looking forward to discussing everything today. This is episode 75, right?
Yes, episode 75.
Nailed it.
I can't wait for episode 100.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we are getting there.
Wow,
I don't think nothing's stopping us.
It'll be next year, right? Like a year, almost. Well, 32 weeks in a year, right? So we have 25 weeks to get to 100.
Oh yeah, I wonder when that. Maybe we should try to time it with like New Year's or something.
Well, we'd have to get. I mean, the year's halfway over, man.
We'd have to do a double show,
2 weeks or 2 per week. We tried doing that once upon a time, a couple podcasts ago, and that was tough.
Yeah, it was very tough. I mean, we had a lot of content and a lot of activity, but it was just we met a lot of cool people. We did. I love the people we met. Local artists.
It was a lot of fun. Very hectic, but a lot of fun. Anyway, let's get into this.
All right, so
this was a real passion of yours.
This resurfaced. This is. Have you heard of
course, Gary McKinnon? Yeah, he said he found all those photos that NASA had deleted of UFOs and things like that.
Exactly. Yes, after the Disclosure Project, he's like, what?
If I remember correctly, he's an autistic gentleman out of the UK. Oh yeah, it says London right there.
Yep, out of London. He's a hacker.
He was imprisoned. I think now he's out of prison.
Yep, and the U.S. tried to extradite him for many years.
They were really upset because he hacked a lot of highly classified military documents.
Yeah, and he tells in this interview, us, how he did it. It wasn't a big deal, so he didn't really do any damage. It was just they were left and unprotected.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like something you'd see out of the Matrix where he's got 16 computers in front of him.
Right.
Apparently, according to him, it was pretty straightforward, pretty easy.
Yeah, and he didn't do any social engineering. He didn't trick anyone to give him a password. He didn't hack any passwords. They were just left open, which is strange. I guess they never thought anyone would dare do that to the United States, and they did scare off people because of what I think they tried to get him for 60 years or something like that.
It was a huge, I think cybersecurity wasn't when he was hacking the database. I don't think cybersecurity was truly understood as well back then.
Correct.
And as we know, our military and government is run by all old people who have no touch of reality. They have no idea what's going on, so they go, "Oh, it's on a computer. Nobody can get to it."
Right, and I think he did it in 2004, 2000. Anyway, let's listen. This is an interview with Project Camelot. So for those who don't know about Gary McKinnon, enjoy. It's a really cool story, and it just corroborates everything we've been talking about in the show about secret space and about a UFO cover-up. But this guy saw with his own eyes. Unfortunately, he did not take any screenshots, and he'll tell us why.
He said he was too mesmerized by what he was seeing that he forgot to take screenshots.
Maybe we should try to get him on the show.
Oh, boy.
I mean, then it will really be on the radar, right?
There we go. Yeah.
All right, let's hit play.
In other words.
Oh, yeah.
And would you say, was the passion for information related to UFO and hidden technology? Was that kind of your passion, or what would you say is your passion in that regard?
I passionately believe that we should all have this technology. and not so much, obviously, if you could confirm the existence of extraterrestrials and their contact with us, then that would be good. But to me, it was more important to have this free energy system.
Okay. So what did you find out
About free energy and that's gravity, unfortunately, nothing at all. But the UFO thing, as far as I'm concerned, it may sound circumstantial to some, but as far as I'm concerned, it's proven. As part of the disclosure project, there was Donna Hare, and as a photographic scientist who had up to secret clearance, was in Building 8 of Johnson Space Center, she says in her testimony, and that one of her colleagues was doing some photographic work, invited her over to look at it. And she saw high-res satellite imagery, maybe half a K above the treetops. I think it was like a white disc, and she at first thought, it's a blob in the emulsion, some kind of fault with the photographic process. And he said, well, look, blobs in the emulsion don't have perfectly formed shadows going in the same direction as the trees, etc., etc. All the detail was there. And she basically was saying that they had this whole place in Building 8 for airbrushing out UFOs on a regular basis, because they then, sell on their imagery to universities and the like. And having been all over other NASA installations already, I assumed the blank password scanning method would work the same in Johnson Space Center, and it did. Once I was in there, I used various network commands to strip out the machines that were in Building 8 and got onto those. And the very first one I was on literally had what she said. I can't remember if it was filtered and raw, processed and unprocessed, but there was definitely folders whereby there was a transformation in the data taking place between one and the other. These folders were full of images in a proprietary NASA format, or in a format I'd never seen before, no JPEGs or GIFs. They're also 200 to 300 megabytes in size, and being on a 56K dial-up modem, there's no way I was going to download it. It's like 5 minutes per megabyte. So what I did, the remote control program that gives you graphical control of the machine, turned the resolution right down, turned it down to, I think, 4-bit color. And then on the desktop of the NAS machine, navigated to the folder, double-clicked on the first image. The application launches, the image comes up on the screen, but it's still very, very slow. And what I saw, I was hoping to see exactly what she was describing, sources and very definite imagery. Mm-hmm. And what instead I saw was, I assume it was the Earth. This was in sort of shades of grey, but you had the Earth's hemisphere, I think about 2/3 of the screen. And then halfway between the top of the hemisphere and the bottom of the picture, there was a classic sort of cigar-shaped object, but with sort of golf ball domes, geodetic domes, above, below, and this side, and I assume the other side as well, so the left and right as well. And with very slightly flattened cigar ends. No seams, no rivets, no sort of telemetry or antennae or anything like that. And it just had a feeling of not being man-made. There was none of the sort of signs of
so in essence, it was a craft, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
And
when I first saw the top half of it, I thought, well, it's a boring satellite picture or something. But as more of the thing was revealed, it was obvious it wasn't like any satellite I'd ever seen.
Wow.
And I've been space mad since I was about 14, so I've seen lots of pictures of satellites.
Okay, so you knew what you were looking at to some degree.
Here's your list of charges.
All right. So, what's not in these clips is, if you remember, he also got into the Navy computers, and he saw something that said off-world officers.
Yeah, I mean, he has a tremendous story to tell, and I know everyone goes, why didn't he take screenshots? Why didn't he take screenshots and stuff like that? And I think when you hack into everyone has to remember, this was in the age of dial-up internet.
Yep.
Nowadays, you click on a picture and boom, it's right in front of you. We pull up this YouTube video, boom, it's right here. Mm-hmm. Back then, pictures would load line by line by line, and if he had sat there, copied, downloaded all these photos, it would have taken a while. I imagine since he was doing something illegal, he was in a bit of a rush. And then, like he says, mesmerized by what he saw. I can understand the, forgetting to take photographs, but also the fact that the U.S. government went after him so hard, I think is telling. He didn't sell anything he found. He didn't steal anything. He just looked.
No. Yeah, he just looked. It was, and like you said, he just listened to Harris, Donna Harris, and she specifically said Building 8, and that's where he went. He went to Building 8, and he found exactly what she was talking about. But what that clip didn't show is he was he was hacking for 2 years apparently under the radar.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And when he was looking at that picture was when he saw the mouse being taken over. Someone went all the way down and disconnected the network, and that's when he got caught.
Yeah.
When he looked at that picture, he even had a conversation with someone with WordPad. Like he convinced someone that he's military intelligence and he's just doing cybersecurity. Crazy, man. Really brave of him. He's such a legend. I mean, apparently there was someone else who hacked too a few months before that or a year before that. I forget the name now of him.
Just hacking is such an interesting concept to me. It's obviously been Hollywoodized now, so you don't actually have any idea what hacking really looks like anymore.
Right.
Everyone thinks it looks like I said earlier, the Matrix, when that's simply not the case.
And then typing. I mean, all he did was he scanned the computers. He said there were like 10,000 or something, or 50,000, and then he scanned the computers that had free blank passwords, and then he went into those computers, so they were unprotected anyway. So he didn't really do anything wrong. It was just open. And then he said he found other computers logged in from foreign countries like China, Brazil. He said, I think Netherlands.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing doesn't surprise me at all. And obviously we've shored up our. I mean, I think anyway we've shored up our digital security.
Right.
But it really was. I mean, the beginning of the internet was very much Wild West.
It really was. It was so cool. I mean, now we're just worried about being censored. Look at us how we're being censored. I mean,
we were talking about that before we started recording.
Yeah, now we upload something and AI scans it for stuff we are saying right now, and then images that might be copyrighted or videos that might be copyrighted, and they won't publish it. They'll say, "Oh, sorry, we can't publish this." So
it's misinformation,
right? And it's being censored. Like where you can't even upload it onto the internet. Well, at least not YouTube, but they'll probably apply that everywhere. It might be, give it 5 years.
I'm seriously wondering. I mean, it kind of already exists with the dark web, but I was going to say, when is there going to be like a secondary internet where it's kind of like the Wild West again? I mean, everyone uses this modern internet because you have to, and
right.
Everything is very sanitized, and you can only say the right things, or you get whatever blocked, banned, removed, whatever. And I'm wondering, I mean, the dark web, I'm assuming, isn't like that, but also the dark web is pretty dangerous.
It is very dangerous. And there might, I think I agree with you. I think if the internet gets really bad, like this one that we see, this commercial internet, if it becomes really bad with censorship, people are they going to go, not per se the dark web, but another web,
the intraweb.
Yeah, where people are free to say what they want and share what they want. That's what made it so great, the internet.
And just a quick tip for anyone out there who wants to use the dark web. If you find someone who is offering their assistance to help you kill someone, aka a hitman, they're a Fed. They're always a Fed. So don't bother. Fed. They're always a Fed. Every single time.
That's what it's called, Fed posting.
Yep. It's supposed to glow harder than a nightlight.
This is great from Dolan. You'll love it too. He basically says that UFO secrecy has destroyed the American Republic.
Awesome.
You got a situation where the militaries of the world, and especially the United States military, learned about the reality of other beings that are here. That's what happened. Beings that aren't like us, that are advanced, right, in many ways, and in which they probably didn't really know the motivations. There's a lot of unknowns. So the start of the secrecy, it's not that difficult to understand. Because first of all, the secret becomes profitable. Like it becomes profitable and powerful because you have knowledge and you have the future in your hands there. Because if you're studying the tech, you're studying these beings, you're learning things. It gives you advantages over your adversaries in the world, like all of that. Like you're not going to want to stop that little gravy train. But also the compartmentalization, the secrecy, I've said for years, like it's like one of many knives in the back of the old-fashioned American Republic. The American Republic was like, like when Caesar was murdered by all the senators, they just got him. That's kind of what happened to the American Republic. Lots of knives in the back. Lots of them. And one of them is UFO secrecy. And what it did is it created a series of what I call legal illegality, a series of laws that are not really legal. They're not really constitutional. After all, like if you got to pay for all of this research and development on this stuff, and you can't tell Congress about it, well, Congress is supposed to know about it, but they can't. So you're creating an extra constitutional system, and it's not difficult to justify, but it's still illegal. It's still the destruction of this beautiful dream that was the American Republic, a beautiful dream.
Yep.
You know, and it's just like a knife in the back. And all the models that the United States turned on other nations in terms of color revolutions and so forth, which the United States intelligence community was absolute expert at. You set up an NGO in Ukraine or in Kyrgyzstan or Bosnia or wherever, and you throw a couple of $1 billion and you just destroy the society. And then you create a revolution. Well, we're seeing that happening here. I mean, it's happening in the United States. Like our invention, our diabolical invention is being turned on ourselves now. Poetic justice in a way.
I'd argue it's always
so
been
I don't
like
know.
that.
I mean, are we even?
What?
I'd argue it's always been like that. He said it's being turned on us now, but I kind of think it's always been the case. We just exported ways to, destabilize a country.
Yeah, the same thing happened with the excuse for surveillance and psyops using social media. That was only for overseas, right? And now we've been since Trump, we've seen it being, and COVID, we've seen it being brought here on and used on the American population. So same thing with Patriot Act. They said, "Oh, it's just for foreigners. Don't worry about it." And now they're using it on American citizens, and not even and in the open. They don't even care.
Exactly.
And, I mean, when we give these people power, I mean, it always comes from a good place, but then it always becomes abused because the wrong people want to use it for their own means, their own ends. But I mean, he's so spot on. Legal illegalities.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and many stabs in the back. And he's right; it is many stabs in the back. But I think it was one of the major ones, UFO secrecy, because they've applied this across the board, like with Big Pharma, and
I mean, especially we've seen with Big Pharma not most recently, but very recently is, any kind of opposition is not just attacked, it's silenced and burned and salted once the graves are still fresh. I mean, it's dangerous what power these people hold. Wow. Did you hear that?
Oh yeah. Was that a doorbell?
No, it sounded like a firework going off right outside my window. Wow. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Oh, I heard like a ring. Maybe I caught the tail end of it.
Able any longer. In an age where we're training an entire new generation to rely on Alexa and Google Echo for all of their answers, don't bother researching. Get your authoritative answer from Google/YouTube. They'll tell you. The Atlantic Council over at Facebook. All of these groups that are guiding people into pre-masticated, pre-chewed solutions. We'll chew your food for you, baby bird. That's our world now. And so we're just continuing this process of taking the ability to make intelligent decisions away from people so they can't even figure this stuff out on their own. We always say, and I do say this, we want the truth. The problem with the truth is, I think the truth might be terrifying. And in our own lives, I think we actually don't really want truth. Like we tell ourselves that. But when you get into real truths, deep truths, whether it's about yourself or about things around you, those are very unsettling. So I think that there could be some unsettling truths. And that doesn't mean like we should all be afraid of the future. You can't avoid it.
Huh. He's so great, man.
Yeah, he's dead on. I agree with pretty much everything he said there. Especially, being baby birded all of our news and information. He's spot on. I mean, this is how we got to where we were. I don't know what to think. What does CNN tell me? What does Fox News tell me? Oh, that must be the truth. And it's just like, come on.
Yeah. And we saw it happen with COVID. People
we absolutely saw it with COVID.
They eat it up because they want to see an authority figure or I guess outlet calm them down or tell them everything is okay, don't worry, just gaslight them. And people will just say, all right, read a headline, there you go, I'm done, I don't need to research anymore.
And God, the headline thing pisses me off too, because all these news organizations rush to print out a headline that it doesn't even have to be right.
No.
And they'll leave it up for 24 hours, and so everyone thinks that's a headline, and then they'll quietly go back. They won't make a new news article, they'll just go and change the headline and say, oh, we never said that.
Oh yeah, it's happened so many times where they retract it. It doesn't matter. Damage has been done.
And
You know,
they know that. They absolutely know that.
yeah. It's really powerful. I mean, maybe that's what's so good about the media is changing the media landscape. But still, TV is the number one medium for where people get their media from, which is scary. I mean, I watched the TV news the other day. My God, man, it's just terrible.
I haven't watched regular TV in a long time. I just can't stand advertisements, and it's just so. And they're everywhere. God, they even changed Amazon, Amazon Prime, a product I pay for to have no ads. They changed it, so you have to pay even more to have no ads or no ads.
Didn't Hulu do that too when they started? If you pay, there's no ads, and then they started putting ads. But if you pay a little bit more, those ads will go away.
That's exactly right. I mean, hell, it's on YouTube. You can get YouTube Premium for just an absurd amount of price. It's like $30 a month or something. I mean,
is it YouTube? No, it's $9.99. I thought.
I don't know. I think it's. I thought it was more than that. Anyway,
if you want YouTube TV, yeah, that's $30.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Or just get
or $40.
Or just get a free ad blocker, folks.
Does that work on YouTube?
I think so. I mean, I've only watched YouTube on my phone, and I've got an iPhone. I don't think I can put an ad blocker on there. But I swear I used to be able to block ads on YouTube.
I have premium because YouTube is just unwatchable with ads because they put them in randomly, and some of these accounts that are monetized, they put like hundreds in just like one documentary. It's ridiculous.
It sucks.
All right, so this article, UK's top UFO expert. Oh, I have a siren. Try and mute myself. Or wait, is it gone? No. Wee.
UK's top UFO expert shares one major fallout from finding aliens.
Oh, he's got a cross there.
The discovery of alien life could turbocharge religious division and hatred because we don't have enough of that already. The UK's leading UFO expert has warned. Nick Pope, who investigated unidentified flying objects, UFOs, for the Ministry of Defense, the MOD, warned of the fallout days after it was revealed that the UK government is investigating how it would reveal the discovery of extraterrestrial life to the public.
Interesting.
He said the discovery of aliens could also reignite centuries-old tensions between science and religion. Kind of already there, aren't we? I mean, there's a major conflict going on in the Middle East, and I mean that boils down to a lot more than just religion, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part of it. And but you'd think, if the government really believes that it will divide people, they'll release this because that's all they do. It's not like they do anything to unite us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it actually would unite us, and that's why they don't release it, because it would bring. Yeah, fine. There are going to be factions that are going to be very angry, very violent about news like this coming out. It will destroy their paradigm. They're going to be looking to their religious leaders to give them answers. I mean, yes, but many people would be like, "Oh, all right."
I think your average Joe, even if they're just Sunday churchgoers, I don't think it'd have a huge impact on their lives.
No. Well, the Vatican has said before that they would baptize an alien if they wanted to.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, Glaxgork.
They're the only ones who are really ahead of this. Is the Catholic Church?
Yeah, it only took them 2,000 years.
I know.
They were pretty behind on a lot of things for a very long time.
Yeah, they were. So it just comes from the guilt, maybe.
Yeah.
So he goes, history shows that the relationship between science and religion has always been difficult, and that differences in religious beliefs fuel divisions and hatred that we see in the world today. Yeah, and people will say, "Oh, it's a psyop anyway." Half the public will say that.
Well, as long as MSNBC tells them that, or Fox News.
What proof is there that COVID vaccines save lives? None. It's all belief. What does that have to do with this?
I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. Is that, and even Tucker has said that he just believes, he doesn't even want to look at it anymore because he just believes it's biblical and that these are spiritual beings. And yeah, we've talked about on the show also is that it might destroy some religions if this comes out, and the power structures that we have in the world today can't allow that and won't allow that.
Right.
They might be destroying themselves anyway.
That seems far more likely than more hatred between religions, and that's why they won't release it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, good article there. And then you sent me a really cool one.
Yeah, this is a pretty big read. Here's the title of the post: Earth is a prison planet for rebellious souls, according to an alien at Roswell. Now, this sentiment that Earth is a prison planet has been around for quite some time, and I see it a lot on the conspiracy subreddit. And religion, oddly enough, ties a whole lot into this.
Right.
A lot of posters on there believe going to the light is the wrong choice, and you're supposed to turn away from it, because if you go into the light, that's when they capture your soul. And there's a bunch of people, I don't know if it's schizo posting or it's just a feeling they get or what, but I've seen so many comments like, that's why you see your family, you're being tricked into going and having your soul harvested.
Yeah, but then they get reincarnated too, right? You get back, it
gets recycled. I think
some part of it gets harvested, and that's what you forget. I think that they break off something. Whoever's doing this breaks off something, and then your soul goes back, but it's not full again.
So really, this post is about this book. If you could scroll up, I think it's mentioned at the top.
This one,
alien interview by Lawrence Spencer or Matilda McElroy. Maybe it's both.
Edited by Lawrence.
Okay. Based on the documents. What does that say? Provided by Matilda O'Donnell McElroy. And it's a long post. I don't think we're going to read through the whole thing.
No. But she interviewed the alien that was captured in Roswell, right? The one who was alive.
Right. It's actually a really interesting story. I'll read this little tidbit here. The alien that was captured at Roswell was given a quote-unquote education. The people at Roswell Military Base fed her with books, starting with basic elementary English books, and then history books, science, arts, and even an encyclopedia. Her communication with this nurse was all done telepathically. The alien referred to her body as a doll. It's neither biological or mechanical. She uses it like an avatar, just like in the movie, and is actually somewhere else. Now, this is a very interesting thing that I have seen in other UFO cases before, where the little grays that we see running around, they're essentially, I know it says not biological, not technological or mechanical, but they're essentially biological robots that are being controlled from a different either plane of existence or other dimension, because wherever they are located, they can't actually set foot on our planet in physical form anyway.
Right. And they might be very scary looking. They might be huge. We've talked about this before, where if they want to interact with humans, then it has to be in a form that we're familiar with.
Right. And maybe they look monstrous or whatever, but more likely they look like something we can't even fathom. It's like all those books about Cthulhu, is you lose your mind when you gaze upon Cthulhu, because you're literally the human mind and brain can't understand what it's seeing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Insane. I mean, it's just like if we want to interact with ants, we'll send something that looks like an ant down there,
exactly,
and interact with them and communicate with them. But it's not that thing that's actually communicating with them.
And what's most importantly is it doesn't go the other way too. We can look at ants and see what they're doing. They're protecting their queen, they're gathering food, they're building their anthill. But ants can't look at humans and go, "Oh, he's on his lunch break right now." They don't.
Yeah,
there's no. You can't. It's a one-way thing. It's really funny you mentioned ants. I was talking to my mom about this phenomena earlier, and I literally used the exact same thing. I was talking about ants.
Yeah, because they are an old civilization. They are highly orderly, right? They're very successful species, and. You're right. They don't think about, they're building buildings or they're building a new road here. We need to make it. They have no clue what's going on. It really is like we're in a different dimension.
The only umbrage I have with the story is it's a little too human, because it breaks down into there's two forces: the domain forces and the Galactic Federation.
Oh, one of those,
or the quote unquote old empire. And if I remember, I'm not going to read through the whole thing. If I remember correctly, the domain was like a group of scientist aliens that landed on Earth, but then they found out the Galactic Empire was on Mars or something, and they were like enemies with them, and so the old empire on Mars attacked them, and yada yada yada. It's a little too
well,
huge.
There was definitely a war on Mars because they found proof of nukes, so definitely something was there, and that was this was way before that revelation came out. Well, okay. What is the thing about the prison? Is it here?
In the interview, this alien claimed that Earth is a prison for souls. They bind the soul into a biological body and prevent it from leaving. When a person died, their memories are wiped and put back into another body. There is an electronic force screen that detects souls and prevent them from leaving this planet. It's a little bit like Scientology.
Yeah. Is there a reason? I mean, there have been remote viewers that were looking at I forget what it's called, but there's a concept in Buddhism where you can escape reincarnation if you just let go of earthly.
You live the purest life. Yeah, I think that's nirvana, right? That's where you go if you
Or
die.
Kundalini, maybe. Is it Kundalini, maybe?
I thought it was nirvana. I don't know.
Okay, so one of them, but they remote viewed this, and they said that they saw these beings, these huge beings, that would that our souls and the earth is part of a much bigger machinery, and it creates, I guess, energy for something else.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ties into a lot of other UFO/alien theories, because a lot of people claim that Earth is essentially a gas station.
Yeah.
Not like, but like they use humans as gas. Kind of ties into it. Now, this I've seen in a lot of these photos and stuff. I've seen a lot of theories and stuff posted about this. All cultures around the world seem like they have these petroglyphs, stone carvings, and then a lot of them all over the world. Yeah, see in America, Mesopotamia, they're carrying this square-like device. They've been seen in Egypt, hieroglyphs. I mean, it's pretty wild. I mean, it's the same thing. Why people wonder why there are pyramids all over the world, built, tens of thousands of years ago.
Right, showing that there was some kind of global civilization. Yeah, those pyramids are everywhere. We have no idea what they're used for. I mean, we're understanding them more. The most recent ones that they were energy devices, wireless energy devices.
It's cool stuff.
So cool stuff. It is cool stuff. I love that. And I did see a video. Someone tried to claim that they were holding the fruits of the tree of life in here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to look at it, Occam's razor, it's just a bag is a very common thing to use, and that could just be
offerings, right?
Or they're just carrying anything. Maybe they've got coins in there. Maybe they've got, I don't know, whatever ancient civilizations needed to carry around. The fingers of their enemies.
The alien claimed that the soul is bind to the body by using artificially induced orgasm.
Well, and that also ties into abduction scenarios. How often do we hear about people who got abducted? They're forced to have an orgasm against their will. Happened to Barney Hill, very famously. Happens to a lot of people.
Orgasm. They induced an orgasm.
Yeah, you don't Betty and Barney Hills. Yeah, they put.
I know that. But there's a lot of details.
He and Betty got split when they were taken up into the craft, and he was laid on a table and held down against his will. They put a thing over his penis, and he said it felt like a thin metal snake was like crawled up his urethra and made him orgasm. I know.
My God.
Not a pleasant.
No. Okay, what's this now? They claim the pyramids are used as a distraction. It has no purpose than to confound the people.
Now that's a fun prank. That's a really fun prank.
I mean, why would you do that's? I don't believe that. The pyramids and all the other stone monuments erected by the old empire could be called mystery monuments. For what reason would anyone waste so many resources to construct so many useless buildings to create a mysterious illusion? Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, let's watch this video.
Yeah,
it's only a minute long.
The misfits,
the
rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Okay, it has nothing to do with the post.
Yeah, fun little inspirational video, but you're right, it has nothing to do with the post.
Famous last words with this. F you, I won't do what you tell me. Is this a different post? No, it's
No,
not.
it's the same one.
Same post?
It's Reddit. Half the people are teenagers and half the people are just crazy.
All right, we have some UFO sightings to go to.
Woohoo!
This is from the Juan on X.com. It's a
Whoa.
cigar. Yeah, and they enhanced it. Here, let's read this post. This is a clip from a very thorough analysis done on an elongated Tic Tac UAP captured in the footage taken of a helicopter flying over Mexico City on 4/23/24.
Just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the image of the UAP was enhanced with AI, but the person doing the analysis in Spanish states that at the low end, the UAP is at least 8 meters or 26 feet long and was traveling at Mach 3.42 or 2,603 miles per hour.
Now, just based on the angle of this video, I don't think it's necessarily well, I guess it's filmed from below. I was going to say it could be a really flat saucer, but if it's filmed from below, it probably would have a little bit more depth.
Especially if it's going fast, right? I mean, many people would say, "Oh, that's a is that what he's talking about? This right here?"
No,
Yeah.
early in the video it showed. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, and it could be a saucer going really fast. It just looks flattened. Oh, so that's how he's.
Well, I don't. That's the thing is when you're taking, you don't have anything to compare the length because there's nothing in the background or foreground to measure length. This thing could be 20 miles away, and the
could be right in front of him.
Right there, yeah.
Right, it could be like an insect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so he enhanced it here.
Yeah, that's nothing though. I mean, you can't. You know, videos are not like CSI Miami. You can't go enhance.
Right.
Your blurry photo is going to be or blurry video is going to be a blurry video.
True. So not that good. There is. You hear this guy? He's a UFO. He's a UFO. He's an NFL star. Do you know who this guy is?
I don't recognize him.
Oh, Raiders. I remember now. It's the Raiders.
No, I definitely don't recognize him.
So he tells a story here of a UFO they saw on their plane.
Hell yeah. Let's hear it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So we're looking, we don't see nothing. I go back to my seat, probably like 20 minutes goes by. I get a text from AJ and he's like, "Hey, come up here. We're seeing these lights." And dude, I go up there and immediately I just see like this big white light and it's getting bigger and it's going back like smaller. It's getting bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. And we're all just like, what the hell is that? Like, what the hell is that? We're talking to the pods and like, it could be a satellite. It's just the sun probably bouncing off a satellite. It's probably nothing. We don't know what it is. Where all of a sudden this light goes up, down, and it does like a circle. And we're all looking at each other like satellite. Like, that's a satellite. And the pod goes, "Yeah, that's not a satellite. I don't know what that is." And we're sitting there and we're like, "What is that?" Well, all of a sudden another one pops out like right below it, and they're starting to go like this, and they're moving kind of like side to side. And these pilots are looking at each other like, they're still being kind of skeptical. They're like, we don't know what that is. Like, we'll be honest, we don't know what that is. They're like, we're flying at 3,500 feet or 35,000 feet, and whatever that is pretty far above us.
Yeah.
And so they're being real skeptical still. And it was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. And both the pilots are like, we've flown 15 years for the military, and he's like, we've never seen anything like this.
Really?
And so later that day, a little bit later, we're like, well, where are we flying at? Where we at? And he's like, well, we're right in New Mexico, but about 300 miles out that way is Area 51.
Of course.
And I was like, oh, I'm sold. Right after that, I was like, I'm completely sold.
Yeah.
This whole conspiracy.
Were they nervous at all about it? Like, were they?
The crazy man, I didn't get that part where he was over Area 51, so it could be just a test. Could be a
now,
test.
I don't wish death on anyone. However, if there was a plane to go down, why couldn't the UFOs shot down a plane full of raiders?
Maybe they're trying to. They were warning them.
I'm a Broncos fan, and it's been tough these last few years. And just one thing, if one thing could go my way,
every other Raider is getting
getting hit by a UFO or abducted. Yeah,
like MH370 just disappeared the whole plane. The entire team is gone.
It is a really cool story. I mean, God, who knows? It's funny though. I mean, even when people are witnessing things, that they have to come up with some sort of
Yeah.
rationalization as to what they're seeing. You know, the sun bouncing off a satellite, and everyone goes, "Yeah, yeah, sure, why not?" And then it starts doing something. Maybe that's the point, you know, of the UFOs. They have
Yeah.
to make you think. They go, "Well, we got to make them, you know, think differently about their reality and stuff."
Right. I mean, if it didn't do that, they would have all dismissed it. I mean, they were still trying to dismiss it, but they would have really just, you know, dismissed it as nothing.
Well, and not to throw shade at you, but also the same thing where they go, you know, you go, I didn't know it was right by Area 51. They're probably doing some tests. You know, it's just like we're humans.
Yeah.
We have to find that
Right.
rationalization somehow. It's funny
Right.
how we work.
Well, and they've always been very interested in our secrecy, you know, because it's not out in the open. So they do have to go check out for themselves what's going on, instead of chatter or people talking about it. I remember reading a story. Was that in one of the books? But there was one story where, you know, our nukes are really heavily fortified, right? And these rooms have like thick lead.
Oh yeah.
No one can get in and out. And they said once where they found evidence of someone being in there. They saw footprints and stuff. And yeah, that they got in there and they had no idea how. You know, because there's cameras everywhere. And
I can't imagine. I don't know if this would be a cool job or just a terrifying job. Like I imagine working as like one of those. I don't even know if it's a real thing. You're working at a silo in eastern Montana, like deep underground, monitoring the nuclear weapons there.
yeah.
They got to have people like there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
Of
can't
course.
imagine if that'd be a cool job or a boring job or a freaky ass job.
It reminds me of that Hall guy. It was supposed to be a boring job, you know. Richard Hall, the Richard Hall, you know, but
The guy who wrote about the tall whites, yeah.
yeah, the tall whites guy. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a terrifying job.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
look
I don't know.
at Range 4 Harry.
So cool, man. I love those books.
Mhm.
He's a funny guy too. This is Brazil, right? Yeah. So Brazil is having supposedly this was a couple days ago or a few days ago, June 4th, 5 days ago. This guy Ronnie Vernet, he's a UFO investigator in Brazil. Yeah, he speaks Portuguese and everything. So he said, I just received the information that UFOs are descending over native villages in the state of Acre right now. Indigenous people are very apprehensive, and regional authorities will likely be contacted very soon. A trip to the region is being planned by me and also by journalists.
Is there any follow-up on this?
Yeah, let's check. He had this one also. I've just received authorization from indigenous leadership of Yawanawa people to install equipment to monitor the UFO activity there in order to improve the quality of evidence collected.
Cool. Smart guy.
Outdoor bullet cameras, outdoor fisheye camera, outdoor thermal cameras, video recorders, Starlink antenna, notebook, drone. And he's asking for people to send him an email if they want to help. And I think this is a video.
Looks like it.
I don't think it's very clear though. I mean, it's just a night. It's just a light in the sky.
I can't tell if it's flashing or if that's just video artifact.
Yeah, it's like changing colors, right? No, it's flashing. It's like pulsating. You can see around. Yeah, they need better cameras. Something that can really zoom in.
Yeah.
Again, it's Brazil and indigenous population. I mean, they can't leave these people alone.
Yeah, I mean, they love scooping them up. Yeah, some of the stories that come out of South America are pretty wild. I mean, I'll never forget that one about the fishing villages where the fishermen were literally getting fish out of the sky with big hooks.
What?
Yeah.
Is this Brazil too?
I believe it was Brazil, yeah.
UAP Brazil. Okay, let's see if there's anything new going on. What's this? June 7th. Phenomenon that descended towards Calimbo, Sao Jose de Serra.
Good luck.
Yeah. Makes a movement in the form of a 8 lying down, varying with green and orange lights. 8-second exposure. Here's another one. I guess this is similar to the last one. So do you think they do rituals or something? These indigenous people, and they're inviting.
You know, I don't know. I think maybe again it's just you've got a large group of people with a state of mind where they're open to it, and for some reason the phenomenon can detect that.
Because I think this is what this is about. Brazilian National Archives prepares to release new batch of UFO documents, because there was an investigation in the 70s, right? It was a village that was being attacked with laser beams and everything. I think that's what this is. This new one. And they've been really open about the UFO.
Yeah, I mean, their government will talk about UFOs openly and how they're trying to track them down and stuff. It's cool. It's completely a 180 from what we have here in the US, where they label you a crackpot for even bringing it up.
Yeah, no one ever talks about this major nation. I mean, Brazil is what? Isn't it G7 or G20 maybe? But I mean, it's a huge economy, huge population. I think the largest Catholic population, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know they're part of BRIC.
Oh yeah,
Brazil, Russia, India, China.
Yeah. Operation Plato. Anyway, really cool. So I guess this should be released May 17th. What? June 17th. It'll be out.
Cool.
This report. So we'll be watching that.
Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that.
I've never been to Brazil. I'd love to go there.
I have not either.
Someone told me do not go unless you have someone you know who's there.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I've seen enough videos about what happens in Brazil that you got to make sure you're safe.
Yeah, there's
a lot of off-duty cops in Brazil that are happy to shoot people who steal things.
I saw that. Yeah, one of them was like this lady, right? The female.
If you go to YouTube and type in off-duty cop in Brazil, you probably get a million like different links. It happens all the time.
Yeah, because they're on bikes and they just steal shit. They steal your bag.
Yeah. If you're parked on the side of the road, a motorcyclist will come up next to you, steal your bag, and drive off, and that's it. You're cooked.
Yeah. Where's this one from? Brazil, May 18th. Brazil. Multiple.
Now the shape of this reminds me of that aircraft of the U.S. The B. What was it? Not B-52.
The new one. The B.
Is it just B2?
B2, B21, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, yeah. But the fact that it's glowing is pretty weird. But again, that could just be wow. Never mind. What the hell?
Whoa! Oh, it's because it's focusing. Whoa! Hola. This is MUFON.
Very weird.
It's morphing.
No, it's like pulsating down the side of the craft. It looks like.
Oh no! Not
gotta have the good music.
Yeah, it's like electricity is coming off the sides.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of that deep underwater octopus that we saw, where the lights start on the inside and they float out to the outside.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's like beings in our atmosphere that we have no idea about.
This thing's trying to communicate with whoever's on the ground, and we don't understand because we don't speak light.
Yeah, we shoot at it.
We speak metal and hellfire.
Yeah, shotgun.
Hell yeah, brother.
Is this
cool footage?
It is very cool footage.
Once again, ding dongs, if you're filming a UFO, what the hell?
Another UFO,
turn your phone sideways. This vertical stuff has to stop.
Because they want to put it on Instagram and TikTok.
All
right, is that a balloon?
I think so, or just I don't know what that is.
Just the way it's just moving like one. Whoa. Okay, wait a minute.
It looks like an astronaut with a really big head. Yeah, I think what that is. Now, I'm not saying this facetiously. I think this is something similar to a popped air balloon that's falling out of the sky. It just looks like high space trash.
Yeah, I agree.
Or high altitude trash, not high space.
Nothing too anomalous, but I mean, it looks weird up in the sky like that. Remember that one that showed like the Michelin Man moving around in the air? It's kind of like that. Nah, I don't know, guys.
There's the fact that there's no like sudden movement. I mean, it literally looks like the skin of an air balloon.
Yeah, definitely.
That silvery, like crinkly stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's still interesting footage.
All right, here we see nothing here.
Something in the clouds that clearly is lit up. Whoa.
What is it doing?
Oh, I think they just changed the color. They put on
To
night
green.
vision or something.
Infrared.
Is that supposed to be floating above the building?
Yeah.
Weird.
All right, that's really weird. So ball lightning just streaks across the sky, right? And it's gone. It doesn't like.
I don't think it
sit and
streaks
hover.
across. I don't think it streaks across the sky. And honestly, no one has ever captured. If I remember correctly, no one has ever captured ball lightning on film.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Or a picture of it. In fact, so I know there's St. Elmo's fire, which is supposed to be ball lightning. That's just a really high buildup of static electricity, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and they show up before earthquakes, right?
Yeah.
So this was in Texas.
Interesting.
What's she saying?
Fog.
What's she saying?
Well, it looks like a very foggy day, or they're barbecuing.
Yeah, or they got a campfire going or something.
Weird.
That is weird.
That is very strange. You'd think she'd move out into the open, though, instead of shooting through a tree.
Oh my god! I thought modern phones stabilize.
No.
Where's this? Mexico again? That's a light.
I think they're talking about the blue thing in the cloud there.
Oh, okay. Ooh, it just turned off.
Oh, wow. So that could be from a light on the planet shooting up. You see, it's a partially cloudy night, and so
yeah,
it's only getting caught there, and then once it pops out, either the light turned off or the cloud moved out of the spotlight.
Right, spotlight. Yeah, I mean,
it's good though. I mean, I'm glad people are taking an interest in what goes on in the night sky. That's what we need.
Exactly. I think we have a few more. Oh, yeah, remember this one in Oceanside? This is like last week.
Nice, yeah.
How come? I mean, that's like so close. I mean, I need to get out.
I know that's the problem.
It's cloudy though, hasn't it?
When it's like a Tuesday and Wednesday night, I'm not going to go hang out outside. I've got work the next day.
Yeah, exactly. And it hasn't been clear at all. But this guy's really funny. He's talking to the UFO.
Hello. Wow, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh. It's flying right over me. It's flying from west to east over my head right now. Hello, how are you? I love you, I love you, I love you.
I love you.
But truthfully, this is what you're supposed to do when you see a UFO. You welcome it.
Yeah.
You welcome it instead of being scared by it, and they'll hang out with you.
Change direction. And I have my tripod all around. It's a beautiful, huge blue orb. Look at that big blue orb. It's bright. To me, it looks white, but in the camera, it's blue. Beautiful blue. Looks like
the music is killing it.
Floating blue.
Oh, it's nice.
I've never seen anything
it's like a spa music.
Yeah, it's very peaceful.
So beautiful. Hello, I hope you have a wonderful evening. You're so bright. Wow.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, I don't even know what to make of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh boy. That's amazing. This thing looks huge. I've never seen one like this before. There's always something new. They always surprise me. I don't think they ever will stop surprising me. It's so beautiful.
Well, cool stuff.
Now it's
Very cool.
like
I think it dims out.
Come on. Now it looks white. Beautiful white or blue and white orb.
Or it's going really far.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank
It's
you
out.
so much. Bless you. Thank you for
They were like, this guy's a little too weird. They're like, he's a little too welcoming. I think he wants it too much. All right, let's get out of
Exactly. Let's get out of here. Like creepy. And then you sent me this one. I've seen something. I mean, it looks fake, but who are these guys? Who's Great White?
I don't think they're anybody.
Pretty insane footage coming out of Tehran. Is this real or fake in Iran?
It does look fake, but we're once again at the point where if we get a clear footage, everyone's going to assume it's fake. So
yeah.
God, the freaking vertical camera again.
Now I've seen videos like this before, and it might be a drone. Like they have a drone that looks like that.
It could be. It very well could be.
Because it looks really similar, unless it's the same type of craft. Everyone's doing it this way, huh? Is it making that noise?
Making what noise? I can't hear anything. It just sounds
Can
like
you hear
someone
it?
sitting outside.
Here, listen.
No, it's
Can
gonna
you hear
talk.
that? Well, I have my headphones in. Maybe that's why. I hear a woo, 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 woo. Whoa, that is weird. All right, wait.
Oh, you definitely have to zoom in on that one.
All right, wait. It's making noise. All right, this is getting crazy. Wait a minute. How do I get rid of this? All right. So what's this one?
No,
Why
no.
are they all 8 seconds?
Go back to the third one. That was the big one.
Which one?
The one on the bottom left. We didn't get to see that one. Whoa.
What the hell? All right, bottom left. He's making noise. What?
I don't know, man. That's pretty out there. Unless this is like some big, I don't know. What do you think?
I have no idea. It kind of looks fake, but it kind of doesn't.
I know. I mean, it doesn't look. I mean, I'm not super trained in CGI. It doesn't look like. Plus, I've seen a real one. It looked well. That doesn't help at all. It looks fake.
What's happening in Palestine? You know how far Iran is?
They're a little ways off there.
All right. No one's really
okay. So, public opinion seems to think that it's fake. I think it's cool series of video regardless.
It is very cool. It's funny. Iran has had some incursions into their nuclear bases, and they've had, of course, famous ones like in the 70s.
Didn't
but
they
like
also,
recently?
Wasn't the jellyfish one? Wasn't that also there?
Oh no, that's Iraq.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, on a U.S. base there. But they've said in the past that they feel like they said it's weird that the UFOs behave or have the same politics as the U.S. or something because they were going after their nukes. But they do that to everyone.
That's true.
Do you think that's why the U.S. also doesn't want anyone to have nukes because they don't want anyone else finding out about UFOs or downing them or you know what I mean?
Yeah, that very well could be. Who knows? Who knows? It's probably like one of the various reasons. They've probably, now this is you sent this one to me. This is pretty wild stuff. I mean, I don't know what to think of this. My first thought looking at the top photo is like it's like a tree that just got lit up funny from the flash.
Yeah, and then you can see the light here.
The enhanced, and I don't know about like all these enhanced color corrected photos and stuff like that. It looks like, it looks like one of those statues from Easter Island.
It does, but it also looks like the Communion alien.
It does, yeah. It actually,
right?
yeah. Well, much taller than the Communion alien, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch Communion again. So it's so bad, but it's so good.
It's both, yeah, and of course it's Christopher Walken.
More like Christopher stumbling.
But dude, this is. Would you send me? It looks like he's moonwalking.
It looks like he's trying to moonwalk out of the photo. Yeah.
Oh no, they caught me. Gotta get out of here. Make it smooth.
So this is from 2004. Classic is saying the enhancement is fake. Othello said. Here's the actual enhancement of that image without fake alien details added. Thanks.
Yeah.
He helped us out there.
Yes, I mean that seems more. That's what I was saying. I don't trust any of those enhanced photos and stuff. Some naked drunk guy ruins the photo.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is. Communion. I've got that book on my shelf right now. Oh no, did I give that? I did give that to somebody at rehab.
Oh, you did? You better give it back.
Well, no, I mean he's long gone.
It.
I don't even know. I don't even remember the guy's name, but he saw me reading it, and I was like, "Yeah, it's really good." And he had an interest in aliens. I was like, you know what? It was like $5 on Amazon. It's not expensive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gave it as a gift too. It's definitely a scary one. Let's just say.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepy stuff that happens in there. What's next for Arrow?
This is a really long document, so we'll just take some snippets.
Cool.
42-minute read.
Whew. I ain't got time for that.
I know. So he goes through basically Arrow, how they got set up, who gave, like, they're basically under the DOD, right? They're created under the UAPDA, the NDAA of 2022, that gave them a budget, and that they would look into UFOs.
And by look into, you mean close their eyes and not look into anything.
Right. So he does have some good
look into something and bury it.
Yeah, just like with the report, we saw the report on the historical record of U.S. government involvement with unidentified anomalous phenomena, Volume 1. That's one that everyone is not happy with. So here it is. He goes, I am among those who find the general history of government involvement in UFOs, as presented in the Arrow Volume 1 report, to be seriously deficient in many aspects, especially as to period prior to 2009. The report falls very short of the comprehensive history mandated by the law. Much of the discussion is superficial. There are huge gaps. The report fails to address or explore known and potential document troves, both public and classified, including those dealing with nuke-associated cases.
Hell yeah, tell them.
Yeah, and then he also shares what Christopher Mellon, John Greenwald, and Barry Greenwood, and their opinions on the deficiencies of the report. What else I want to show you? Oh yeah, wait, let's skip all this. Yeah, there was a long critique by Christopher Mellon in the debrief. We've covered that here on the show. So here he's saying, hypothetically, if it turns out that some component of the government or a government proxy really does possess technology that it has reason to believe is of non-human origin, or has very compelling evidence that such technology is operating in Earth's atmosphere or oceans, then either very senior government officials are now flat out lying to Congress about it, or the secret would be held only by a group so select that it's hard to envision it as existing within our system of government. I mean, we've been talking this for decades.
Yeah.
You know, and it's legal illegalities. So yeah, these lawyers, some lawyers, he says right here, within the executive branch, might construct a legal theory under which such world-shaking information could be concealed from cabinet-level officials.
So dumb.
Yeah, it is. Here, let's go to the bottom and see what he recommends, because this just
burn it down and start all over.
I really wish. Because even the people, like these whistleblowers, won't even go to Arrow anymore. They're scared to go to Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, why would you at this point? But this is why there's such a huge push to get the public sector in, and as there should be. You know, hopefully it doesn't get co-opted by someone with ties to the government, as we've seen many times before. Got to shut them down.
So stupid. All right. Yes, this is Danny Sheehan. They call him a lawyer instead of by his name.
Lawyer Danny Sheehan names exact date U.S. government will have to reveal UFO secrets, and it's soon.
I mean, they're just going to kill him when nothing comes out.
I know. Well, and as I texted you when you sent this to me, I mean, nothing's going to come out of this.
No.
Due dates come and go. You know, the release date of all the information about JFK assassination came and went. Like you mentioned earlier in the show, the deadline for, what's that? God dang it. the Patriot Act. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they keep extending that, and it's just like, government.
We're
can get
still
more-
under that emergency, a 9/11 emergency. Every new president like renews it. We're in a perpetual emergency because everything that they're doing would be illegal if we're not in that emergency. That's the only reason. All of this spying
gives them, and all they have to do is continue conflict in the Middle East and just keep it going. Just keep it going, baby.
Yep, they want to kill us all, so we need to spy on all of you. So Daniel Sheehan, who had been pushing for disclosure of the Pentagon's interactions with extraterrestrials for several years, told the Freedom Pact podcast and that the information has to be released by October 18 this year.
I hope so.
We shall see.
I truly hope we get something good out of this. I hope they're pooping their pants behind the scenes going, how are we going to get around this? Because their hands are tied. But as we've seen, that just doesn't seem to happen with government officials.
Yeah, so the reality is the 24-page bill that was passed by the House and therefore has been passed into law and signed by the president. Yeah, I mean, they have a deadline. They have to meet it. Will they, though? Like they care, right?
Exactly.
They are to gather that all together and have it available in a digitized and retrievable form by October 18th, 2024.
And just to sum up the law has now now mandated that all 6 of our United States military services, all 18 of our U.S. intelligence agencies, all 32 of our United States Defense Department agencies are all ordered to gather together every single piece of information they have acquired pertaining to the UFO phenomenon and non-human intelligence that is understood to be responsible for it. So hopefully something pans out with this. Obviously they want it from every department, which is great. That's exactly what we need.
The bill reportedly covers any previously secret UFO data more than 25 years old. Okay, so we won't get anything new. That's cool. Exactly. Roswell, Kingman, Arizona.
Trinity.
That would take in some of the most famous close encounters, such as Roswell incident, the Phoenix Lights, and perhaps the most convincing of all, the little-known 1957 RB-47 encounter. Huh? What's that? We're gonna have to look this up.
What's it called?
1957 RB-47.
RB-47. 1947, you said?
1957.
Okay, I've got one on Wikipedia for 1960. Here's one, How Stuff Works, the RB-47 UFO encounter.
Oh, yeah.
The RB-47 UFO encounter involved a U.S. Air Force recon aircraft encountering an unidentified flying object in 1957. Okay, it is 1957. The incident sparked intrigue and debate within the UFO community, and some suggesting it as evidence of extraterrestrial visitation. However, close this little pop-up. However, the encounter remains officially unresolved, with explanations ranging from misidentification to potential classified military activities. I'm trying to see if there's a cool summary. Okay, morning hours of July 17, 1957, over southern U.S. In the first hint of what was to come, one of the 3 officers who operated the electronic countermeasures, ECM, equipment detected an odd signal. Moving up the radar screen, the blip passed some distance in front of the RB-47. I'm assuming that's an aircraft.
Yeah.
Then over Mississippi. Though puzzled, he said nothing. However, a few minutes later at 4:10 a.m., the sudden appearance of an intense blue light bearing down on the aircraft shook the pilot and co-pilot. Even more unnerving, the object changed course in the blink of an eye and disappeared at the 2 o'clock position. The aircraft radar picked up a strong signal in the same spot. The UFO maintained this position even as the RB-47 continued toward East Texas. Pilot then observed a huge, in quotes, light attached, he suspected, to something even bigger. The light was so big, darkness was something that the darkness obscured. Remember, this is early in the morning. When the electronics gear noted the presence of another UFO in the same general location as the first, the pilot turned the plane and accelerated towards it. The UFO shot away. By now, the crew had alerted Duncanville, Texas Air Force ground radar station, and it was soon tracking the one UFO that remained. The second had disappeared after a brief time. At 4:50, radar showed the UFO abruptly stopping as the RB-47 passed under it. Barely seconds later, it was gone. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, very crazy.
Never heard of this one.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm surprised I haven't heard of it either.
So cool. Yeah, I mean, they have it on radar and everything. So yeah, that'd be really nice to get.
Well, and what's cool is they had two.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That Wikipedia, of course, Wikipedia wasn't real.
Of course not.
It was talking about a plane that got shot down.
Oh,
cool. Anyway,
so wait, was this Indiana? I forgot.
I know they. Let's see.
Mississippi. Interesting. It doesn't say how big it is, right?
No, I mean they just said the pilot saw the light and thought the light was attached to something much, much bigger.
Yeah, I mean we have the best sightings in those times: 40s, 50s, 60s.
And I mean, what's great is you can't sit here and say like, "Oh, it was advanced Chinese aircraft. It was advanced Soviet aircraft." I mean, you know,
now it's like, oh, it's the Nazis. You know, I mean, that could be some truth in there because we grabbed their scientists and put them in New Mexico. So,
yeah, I mean, and I know the whole thing about the Bell UFO was thought to be Nazi craft.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Farrell has great books on that. Joseph Farrell. Yeah. He writes about that extensively. Many people say that's the ones over the White House were definitely Nazis because why would aliens come over the White House? Like they know. I mean, yes, you know, if they can see like electricity and communications, could you imagine the amount of communications that goes through DC? I mean, they would figure it out who runs the place.
Well, and I mean, like we look at ants, to bring up ants again, we can identify the queen pretty easily, obviously based on its size and stuff like that, but we can see the inner workings of where the ants are going to and from to figure out where the queen is located. I imagine for a fifth dimensional set of group of beings, it wouldn't be too difficult to figure out who's in power.
Absolutely. The laws come from there. The money comes from there. You know, the funding. So everything starts from there. So yeah, it wouldn't be that hard to figure it out. News Nation, we haven't seen them in a while. So they're saying that top secret UFO research grips Washington. Here's what they're saying. Federal agencies have until October 20th to share what they know about UAPs. The Pentagon has refuted claims any retrieval program exists.
Of course.
Additional legislation around the UAPs is expected later this year. So, you know, to those listening, Americans or even non-Americans, you know, contact your politicians, your representatives. Let them know you want the UAPDA to be passed and not you care about this subject.
Absolutely.
You know? And we live in a representative democracy. So supposedly. But in the past, especially with COVID, this stuff has worked when a lot of people do get upset about something. They listen, you know. All they care about is getting reelected. That's all they care about.
This government really be concealing a top secret UFO program? Several senators say the answer is yes.
Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is spearheading legislation to establish a government-wide UAP records collection. Federal agencies now have to reveal everything they know about UAPs by October 20th. Schumer claims that the United States government has gathered a great deal of information about UAPs over many decades, but has refused to share it with the American people. He says that is wrong and additionally breeds mistrust. And then there is Senator Mike Rounds, a Republican from South Dakota who led the measure with Schumer. He said the proposed legislation is modeled after the John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Act. Another Republican senator, Marco Rubio, told News Nation the latest string of UAP whistleblower claims should be taken seriously.
I find most of these people at some point, or maybe even currently, have held very high clearances and high positions within our government. So you do ask yourself, like, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualification, these are serious people, have to come forward and make something up?
Yet the Pentagon has repeatedly denied that such a program is even real.
No verifiable evidence that any UAP sighting represented extraterrestrial activity, that the U.S. government or private industry has ever had access to extraterrestrial technology, or that any information was illegally or inappropriately withheld from Congress.
NASA has also released its own investigation, stating that at this point, there is no reason to conclude that existing UAP reports have an extraterrestrial source.
Despite the Pentagon and NASA's findings, Schumer is expected to once again introduce legislation to further look into UAP programs in the coming months.
I hope so.
Get him, Chuck.
Yeah, exactly.
We're rooting for you.
He's doing something right.
I have no idea what his actual politics are, but I like that he's on this side of the UFO thing.
He is big time because he was friends with Harry Reid.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and Harry Reid was, we all know he started the UAP Task Force, OSAP, and all those guys. And Green Street calls him, what does he call them? The religious UFO cult or something. That bastard. Yeah, so cool. I'm glad. And call your representatives, people. It's called the UAP Disclosure Act. You tell you support it and that you want them to pass it. It's not that difficult. It's an email. It's really easy. They have all these tools online. You can just Google, search for my representative. It takes you to, I think, probably a congressional site. You put in your zip code. It tells you who your representatives are. Go to their websites. Go to contact us. Put in your info. And your address because they need to verify that, and then just write.
And after you do that, keep a lookout for any black sedans hanging outside your house or apartment or neighborhood.
I mean, use a nickname if you want, or an email that's not, like a burner email. They just want to verify that you're at that address. Although I've seen people do campaigns where they just say that they're from that address, but they're not.
There you go.
Anyway, you should definitely still reach out. But yeah, I like you just said, I have so many friends that won't do anything. They won't sign anything, whatever the legislation. Like they don't want to lobby at all because they're scared that they'll be on a list.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what the U.S. government does to people. I mean, it's not that far fetched, so I can understand their caution.
I mean, everything that, because I am on Danny Sheehan's newsletter, and he always sends, contact your representatives. I do it every single time. My representatives know me, and they probably think I'm cuckoo. Like, oh, not this guy again.
Here we go. They probably have a keyboard shortcut when they see your name pop up.
Because I did when I contacted him about Arrow, and then she actually wrote back, my representative, and I wrote, I'm like, they did not even put them under oath, and I should not have done that. But I said he did a press release with only 4 media companies. He didn't even put these people under oath, and blah blah blah. Of course, she didn't reply to that one.
No, of course.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do that again. Just don't get emotional. Be straightforward. Please support this act, kind of thing. And then, hopefully they will. So here's a new statement from Grush, if you want to read it.
Grush. I am not aware of any of the 40 primary interview subjects that form the basis of my ICIG whistleblower complaint having gone to our Arrow to be interviewed. The witness conveyed to me a lack of trust in Arrow and the command climate. Continued. I am only aware of 3 individuals with mostly secondhand knowledge that were interviewed by Arrow that I also spoke with some years back during my research process. Those individuals did produce some interesting leads I followed, but it appears Arrow did not have the expertise to distill the information they were given, as it should have provided them access to a large body of foreign intelligence and other U.S. program information I had access to that is not reflected in the Arrow Historical Report, Volume 1. Senator Gillibrand does not have access to my witness list, so I'm unaware how the senator allegedly has made any assessment in that regard.
An apparent reference to ex-Arrow director Sean Kirkpatrick's comment below, courtesy of Dean Johnson.
Senator Gillibrand and I have spoken about that often, referring to the lack of confidence in the Arrow. And while we both agree that we covered all of the ground, we cannot say 100% unless they come forward to discuss.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be a catch and destroy kind of thing, right? Arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much feels that way.
That's right. And Ask a Poll interviewed Brichette for like an hour or something.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he said those witnesses are going to be part of a new congressional hearing. So that's coming up soon this year.
Nice.
Nick Gold, he's cool too. He said DOD Arrow is a PSYOP with public comms run by career PSYOP officer Susan Go, which we know. What I really want to know is where Sue Go stuck the declassified UAP sticker I gave her last year. So there's at least there's still movement, and it's killing Kirkpatrick. He can't stand it.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, makes his life more difficult. But he shouldn't have sided with the bad guys. That's on him.
Yeah, and he has a new interview up with Stephen Greenstreet.
Oh, jeez.
So if you guys want to watch that, we're not going to play it here just to save you, so your blood pressure doesn't boil.
Yeah, exactly. So this is coming out of, where's this from? I'm assuming, well, it's in New Mexico and Roswell, it looks like.
Yeah.
Organizers share plans for this year's UFO festival in Roswell.
I'd love to go one of these.
It would be a lot of fun. We'll have to make the trip one of these times.
Stan Friedman used to be the guy always at the head of it. I miss him. He was so funny.
June just got here, okay? But maybe you already have been making your plans for the 4th of July.
And for a lot of people, that means heading out to Roswell for the UFO festival. Now, there are some changes this year, so we're trying to separate what's true from what's not. As our Alika Medina shows us, the truth, it's out there.
Oh, God.
There's going to be a little something for everyone at the UFO Festival in Roswell this year. Humans, pets, and everything in between.
At the Chaves County Courthouse lawn, we'll be hosting the human costume contest. And that morning, we'll also be hosting the pet costume contest, which is very a favorite of everyone.
Add to those contests some stargazing and UFO expert lectures. And for the first time this year, a car show. The city is expecting thousands of believers.
We're thinking we have
Believers.
like 10,000 people a day that must be coming here, 5,000 to 10,000 a day. This Main Street swells up. We are the epicenter of everything that's happening.
But Gomez says getting to this point wasn't so simple. She says Main Street Roswell and other local organizations are overseeing this year's festival instead of the city.
They really just wanted to give it back to the community and said, you know, you guys did it before. I think you guys can do it again, and we will support you. And so they have supported us.
One thing Gomez or any other organizer can't control is the weather, and it's already been in the low 100s.
If you're coming, be prepared for hot. So if you're bringing kids, make sure you keep them cool. And even more important, not or as important, watch out with your pets. Our streets are hot. Our asphalts are really hot here in Roswell.
Most of the festival is free, but some events and lectures do require a ticket. We'll have more information on where to buy those at KOB.com. In Roswell, Alika Medina, KOB4.
Drivers in the South Valley will notice new.
I'm surprised. It's, well, you know, obviously it's turned less, and it's come from, it's less of a UFO convention and more of just a big UFO themed party. The fact that they're doing a car show, costume contest, they kind of lost the plot a little bit. But I mean, it's cool that people are so enthusiastic about UAPs and aliens and stuff, that this is a,
and families are going, and pets and cars, exactly. And Roswell's the perfect city for it.
Just way too hot.
Did you ever watch the show called Roswell? It was in the 90s.
That's funny. I was just thinking about that because I was just thinking about how the name Roswell is completely forgotten that it's an actual place. You know, like there's an actual city, and I was just thinking, I bet everyone who lives there and like travels outside of the state, like, oh, where are you from? They have to go Roswell, because you know they're gonna get questions about UFOs. I was thinking about that while they were talking.
Who is that? There's a one of the UFO astronauts. He's from Roswell, right? Oh God, I forgot his name now.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, Cooper.
Oh, really?
Something Cooper. Yeah. I think he's
Dale
from Roswell,
Cooper.
or maybe New Mexico. So this is pretty cool. So we talked about contact in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Richard Geldreich. It's Geldreich or Geldrich. Actually, I've been saying it wrong, but we cover a lot of his research on the show. So he shared his presentation slides of what he did in contact in the desert, and he covered his research. So he goes about
using the name of his presentation is using archives to explore the early years of the UFO cover-up.
So he says who he is. He's open source software. I mean, he played. He created games. So first 3D video game, Montezuma's Return.
Oh, he worked on Age of Empires. I love Age of Empires. Oh man,
1996.
That's like I became a huge ancient history buff because of Age of Empires. Like,
really?
Yeah.
It's a great game.
It's so much fun. They even have it on Xbox now.
Yes, I have it on there. Well, I had it on there.
Right.
So he's worked for Microsoft, Valve, Intel, SpaceX, products I worked on: World Series Baseball, Age of Empires, Halo Wars 1, Portal 2. He worked on Portal 2. That is so sick.
CSGO also, no slouch. Dota 2, those are some big names.
CTO, Boss Fight Entertainment, acquired by Netflix. All right, smart dude.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to get to it. He has a really good timeline. Here it is. And he's the one who found out also how there was a huge spike in 1951, right after the H-bomb. Right after we created the H-bomb is when there was a huge spike in UFOs, of course.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole thing behind Twin Peaks.
Yep, exactly.
Trinity explosion.
World War II, secret radar moon bounce. Menzel was involved. A-bombs, BSRA org, founded by Lane. And then...
Yeah, I'm going to have to dig into this full presentation.
Yeah. Oh, Mentel dies chasing saucer.
Yeah.
So, 1946, first photo from space. Radar detects meteors. BSRA gives saucer warning. Shaver NHI retrievals and radar from NHI. Should I make this smaller? There we go. Oh, much better. This is on archive. Summer 1947. Hell breaks loose. Large saucer wave. More BSRA warnings. Roswell censored photos. 1950. Farmington, University of Denver. Aztec lecture.
I was gonna look up what BSRA is. UFO.
Yeah, it's an organization, a private organization. I think out of San Diego or something. He found their papers.
Borderland Science Research Associates. Is that something?
Yes,
right?
That's the one. Yeah,
okay.
And they warned because the U.S. government in 1945. Or around that time, gave some directorate that the Air Force is allowed to shoot at UFOs if they don't respond to them. So they gave a warning. They gave a warning to the Air Force not to do that.
Anyway,
newspapers.com. This is a good one. So, quoted phrases, search engine hits: flying saucer, 708,000 matches; unidentified flying object, 147,000 matches; flying disc, 84,000 matches; and flying disc with a K, 16,000 matches. So,
total just under 1 million hits.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't include the common UFO acronym.
That's a really good point. The local newspapers couldn't be reliably censored. Yeah, that's why we like using the local websites here when we post these articles.
And here's the Vatican involvement, 1947. He found something there.
At the request of panel member Cardinal Francis Spellman, met with the president to discuss the containment within the Catholic Church and its hierarchy of religious speculation if mass sightings occur. Such containment was successful during the 1947 sightings when Cardinal Spellman met with the Secretary of War on 29th of June. The president has been briefed on defense plan. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Defense plan, which was written in part by the panel member.
So the Vatican's been
very involved in this. That's why everyone is so ready to believe how they want to see what is in the Vatican archives. I do too.
Oh yeah.
I just love that story about the priest who invented that pair of goggles that lets you see any time in the past. It's probably just an urban myth, but still, I can't remember
the Project Looking Glass. That one.
I don't think it was Project Looking Glass because I think that was a government program. Hold on,
okay.
Keep talking. Vatican.
The day before, he has in here also when they met
the Chronovisor.
Chronovisor. Yeah. Oh, suppressed photos even. Because they were in the newspapers. This one right here. Speedy saucer zips through local sky. Look at that thing.
Yeah, wow.
That was
looks like a manta ray, kind of.
So that was only printed on the day after Roswell in the Arizona Republic, Phoenix, Arizona, Wednesday, July 9th, 1947.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, he goes through everything. So, especially this guy, his research, he even created a database for free, a searchable database with everything in there. Like he put up Dolan's books in there. He put up MUFON stuff, and you can just search whatever you want, time, by date, by keyword, and you can find all these cases. I mean, it's just so ridiculous when they say there's no evidence. Yes, there's no physical evidence that we've been able to show the masses.
Right.
But it's
That's what
crazy
makes
to
it
say
difficult.
that there's no evidence. Anyway, very cool stuff. I recommend people go through this. We could do a whole episode on this.
Oh yeah.
Actually. He follows us. We follow each other.
Hell yeah.
Maybe we can invite him on one day. Oh, here it is.
Psychic Spies. Woo! Good stuff. Began in 1945 by Meade Lane, not a scientist or mathematician, but an
academician. Academician.
Sure. He's an academic who's straight into borderland sciences and psychic research. Interesting. He was patriotic, forwarded key info to the U.S. government and U.S. military. Started receiving UFO reports in October 1946, which he sent to newspapers. Good man. And BSRA knew the saucers were coming and warned the public in, what is 10? Is that October 1946?
Here is some of their memorandums. This one dated July 8th, 1947, same day as Roswell. It's in the FBI vault. Compiling and forwarding along. Jackpot. BSRA's secret internal 1950 mailing list. A who's who of U.S. government.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously, wow. Twining was in there. Twining.
MJ12 member?
Yep.
Just 12. Yeah, that's a really cool story. I'd love to do a deep dive on that someday because
okay. Just go through the MJ12 documents. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
We should do that. Of course, disclosure. Anyway, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely would have seen his presentation if we were at that contact in the desert.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice of him to post all the slides, though.
Yeah, man. He's all about transparency, and he loves archive.org. He finds a lot of stuff on there also.
It's really handy website.
Very. All of the ODNI UFO stuff's in there. The CIA UFO files, the FBI UFO files. It's better to go there than to go on a government website. I feel.
I do too.
They'll just record your IP address.
Mm-hmm.
So we were tagged by this website. They shared that they just uploaded some historical UFO interviews and clips. So they tagged us. So it's pretty cool. Listen to these 10 ufology interview recordings that reveal universal cosmology and cover-up dating to 1948.
Wow.
15-year anniversary. So here's the first one. This is interview of Maureen Putty of Frankston, Victoria, Australia. It's a 19-minute one.
Now, there's a country that I feel like should have more UFO exposure. Australia.
Yeah, they have so many.
But I'd never hear about Australian UFOs, really.
Yeah, not here. On YouTube, there's a bunch of channels. There's a guy, I'm forgetting his name now, but he records a lot happening in the sky at night. He uses infrared cameras. He uses I'm
just surprised I've never heard any big story, because I can think of South Africa. That's my favorite. I can think of Rendlesham Forest. Obviously, we've got Roswell here, stuff like that. But I can't name a single Australian famous UFO sighting, which really surprises me.
There is a handful. I just can't remember the names now.
Okay.
But they're USOs as well. They're always going into the water and coming.
So this is a list of articles where people. This is really cool. I'm gonna have to read through these.
Yeah. This is a cover-up documented 1958 NYC radio show about Donald E. Kehoe TV censorship. So it's all on the SoundCloud for free. There's a link.
Nice.
This is Kenneth Arnold interview, 1947.
For those who don't remember or don't know, he's one of the first. He was one of the first big UFO sightings, and he was in his plane when he saw these 9 UFOs flying around just off in the distance from him.
Yep.
Right around here, yeah.
And he called them, after that interview, they called them flying saucers, right? That's when the term was coined.
But he said they kind of looked like boomerangs, if I remember correctly. They weren't, right? They weren't circular. Yes. They kind of yeah.
Just like the B-2 bomber.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Very similar to that. Who's Truman Bethurum interview, 1954?
Cool. I can't wait to look through all these. This is great.
He was one.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to read the same thing you were. It's your turn.
Truman Bethlehem was among the earliest flying saucer contactees whose books were read by the public during the 1950s. And among this group, his contacts were chronologically the first to begin. The initial article to identify the photographed and explained in detail physical proof of space people given to Truman. Really, 1898, 1969, during his contactee experience, the letters from aboard a flying saucer published at this blog in March 2012. The incident is reported in the 1954 case study book, Aboard a Flying Saucer. When one comprehends the significance of the two letters again being shown in this article, one in Chinese and the other in French, bestowed upon Truman Bethlehem while he was aboard a flying saucer, it is undeniable how these simple objects discreetly bring essential insights into the nature of UFOs, UAP, and visitations on Earth by humanity from extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional realms of existence. Truman himself was unable to place in context the bombshell physical proof he was provided in relation to the other cases of paranormal transcendental communication that are identified in this article.
Cool stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of good things here.
Yeah, Arthur Shuttlewood. Also, I don't know who this guy is.
And he encountered Carne of the planet Astria. Anstria. I don't know. Anstria. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to going through all these because this is really cool stuff.
Look at that.
Thank you to whoever tagged us in this. This is great because I haven't heard of any of these except for Kenneth Arnold.
Yeah, exactly. Me
Or
too.
if I have, I don't remember.
It could be that too. Maybe if you read the story, you remember.
Jog my memory. Anyway, great. And
very cool.
as always, for those listening, you can find everything that we talk about on the show in the show notes. So go ahead and check out this website.
Metaphysicalarticles.org. Cool stuff.
Very cool stuff.
There's a new book coming out called... Oh, no, sorry. It's before that. Now, I like to see this. Their UFOs may be evidence of crypto-terrestrials secretly living among us. It's an article on IFL Science. This used to be fringe, so it's good to see outlets now talking about this. And you know what crypto-terrestrials are, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, crypto-terrestrials are basically an advanced species here on Earth, maybe human or more advanced human, that are here with us, that are cloaked for some reason or hide in inner Earth or in mountains, or in the oceans, but that they're not extraterrestrials.
Right, they're not from space. And we've talked about Mount Shasta, Mount Rainier, the mountain up in Alaska whose name I never remember. I mean, this is pretty, people have seen UFOs, and we've posted videos of them, of UFOs flying just in the side of mountains and not crashing, going straight through.
Right, and maybe that's what, if you think about his aeroplane semantics, is that what they're doing when they say there's no evidence of extraterrestrials?
They're just saying, God, wouldn't that be a kick in the knackers?
Yeah, so they don't.
There's no
find out.
Oh God.
Yeah, they're not. They're here. They're not, so they don't get in trouble.
So stupid.
So penned by researchers, where was it? So people can know. Jumping down the rabbit hole, the researchers present their first category of potential UFO pilot, which they call human crypto-terrestrials. These are described as a technologically advanced ancient human civilization that was largely destroyed long ago, example by flood, but continued to exist in remnant form.
Yeah, kind of goes along with one of the first things we talked about, that post where the woman was interviewing the alien from Roswell.
Yeah, and here it is, Roswell UFO crash. I mean, do you think that we have something really advanced that we can't even see, that then they use avatars to communicate with us?
I don't know. I mean, I just think, again, it goes down to what we can possibly understand as human. As humans, we're made of meat, and we use meat to think, and our whole lives revolve around the material plane. But what if these fifth dimensional creatures? You can't even. It's so hard to fathom or even make a guess. I mean, if that whole story with interviewing the alien who calls the whites, or not the grays, dolls, that's just the closest approximation they can make for us.
Right.
It's just so hard. It's so hard to understand. but we've seen so much evidence that there has been extraterrestrial, at least influence on ancient humans, and
For sure.
our history is so unknown, truly. No matter what modern day science likes to tell us.
I mean, this stuff didn't stop. It's funny that once we created the atom bomb, all of a sudden we're not visited by these things. I mean, before then, history was just full of interactions with human beings and
full of them.
NHI. Yeah,
I mean, there's even famous ones. Like I still remember the one from ancient Rome. Everyone was talking like there were two armies ready to battle, and a flaming chariot from the sky came down and landed in between the two armies. And that's well documented. Well documented for the time anyway.
Yeah.
And what else? That's not China flying down in 20,000 years ago and hanging out.
Germany also, right, in the 1600s had something. Yeah, I mean, history is just
and there was that big battle in the skies over that city in Europe, like in the 1400s. That was painted.
Right. Oh, sorry, 1400s. That one. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was 1400. It was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like this has been happening for such a long time. It wouldn't surprise me if it turns out they've been here all along. The call was coming from inside the house.
And, it's not a big deal that we have other beings either sharing this planet with us or communicating with us from somewhere else. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. And I was watching the newest episode of the Y-Files, and this is jogged my memory, but because he was talking about how.
Is that the bonus one you talked about? You told me about.
No, he posted he posted that one, but also he posted it was like 5 or 6 different old episodes that he squished together into one. But anyway, what he's saying is mainstream fights so hard to be mainstream, it keeps everything out that doesn't align with their views, right? Like when people started thinking that cigarettes were unhealthy for you, what did they do? They paid off a bunch of scientists to say 9 out of 10 scientists prefer smoking Camel, and cigarettes are actually good for you, when that's just a complete lie. But and we're seeing that. We saw that with COVID. Anyone who goes against the mainstream is kicked out, and we see that with historians, where if you try and say, look, we have all this evidence of humans being on Earth, modern humans being on Earth and thriving way before you say so, and they go, no, that's fringe
just
science.
like Göbekli Tepe, right? That thing,
exactly,
it's 10,000 years old, and it was buried.
And I mean, this is what Hancock's talking about when he's running around on Rogan and stuff, where human history is much, much longer, deeper than we know it to be. But because it goes against the mainstream, it doesn't get any traction. People, you can't speak out against what is the told to you as the truth.
I mean, it's the psychopaths in charge. They want history to just show one way, and that they are the top. They are at the pinnacle of humanity, and there's never been anyone before them or after them, right?
Exactly. Well, and I mean, another example is to say we talked about mathematics the last couple of weeks and dark matter, and how they just created that term because it doesn't fit into what modern mathematics tells us about astrophysics. Whatever.
And what they're seeing,
it's frustrating. So this wouldn't surprise me at all if aliens have been among us the whole time. That's all.
I mean, you know what? If the truth is terrifying, right, and say that we're food and whatever, say that our souls are food, or that we're physical food, or both, right, and then that they are protecting us from these beings, wouldn't that be okay then? Like, why don't they say that? Like that wouldn't be so bad if they're like our saviors in a way. But maybe that's not happening.
I'm wondering if it's just sunk cost fallacy, where they go, we spent all this time denying they exist. We have to keep saying it. We can't just go back on our word now.
Well, there's that too, and the lawsuits that will happen after that. People going to jail. Although most of them are dead by now.
And some of the ones who aren't need to be. Not wishing violence on anyone.
So while we worry about Ukraine and Israel and sending our money over there, China lands a spacecraft on the far side of the moon to collect samples.
Far out.
Yeah. Our NASA would tell you, well, there's nothing on the far side of the moon, so we're not really interested in it. Well, China's there. They landed successfully, which was really cool. Where's the video? Here's the video.
Oh, nice.
China's Chang'e 6 touched down on the far side of the moon on Sunday morning and will collect samples from this rarely explored terrain for the first time in human history. the China National Space Administration announced. Supported by the Queqiao-2 relay satellite, the lander-ascender combination of the Chang'e 6 probe successfully landed at the designated landing area at 6:23 a.m. in the South Pole Aitken Basin. Chang'e 6 consists of an orbiter, a returner, a lander, and an ascender. Since its launch on May the 3rd this year, it has gone through various stages such as Earth-Moon transfer, near-Moon braking, lunar orbiting, and landing descent. The CNSC said the lander-ascender combination separated from the orbiter-returner combination on May the 30th. The Chang'e 6 mission is tasked with collecting and returning samples from the moon's far side, the first endeavor of its kind in the history of human lunar exploration.
Congrats, China. Hopefully we get some good samples. I did see something that they are noticing. There are some ionized particles on the far side of the moon. They're saying because it doesn't have a protective atmosphere like Earth, so like some particles are allowed to come through. That's right. Starship also launched this week successfully. It's a ridiculous.
Sorry, I was muted. Oh man, I've had this joke lined up, and he kept cutting me off. I was like, "Oh, I want to say it," but I was muted. Sorry. I was going to say,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, good for China. I hope they don't find a bunch of student protesters there, because we all know how that ends.
Yes, we do. So they're there. I mean. Now, some people say we've been all across. I mean, me myself too. I would say that we've been across the solar system since the '80s. But we don't have an open space program. We have a secret space program. So maybe they're just looking at China, going, "Ha ha! All right, yeah, been there, done that." But it'd be nice if we know that.
It'd be nice if this sets off some sort of another space race. That'd be cool.
Oh, for sure. If China and Russia will go to the moon because they're building a base there, including us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope China actually finds something super valuable. Well, I do and I don't. I hope they find something super valuable there where the U.S. goes, "Oh, God, we got to get to the moon."
Yeah, and set up shop there. The Nazis wanted to do that.
Yeah, I saw that movie, Nazis from the Moon. It was all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was okay. So another fund launches. UAP, they're called the UAP Disclosure Fund. Launches to fight for transparency and whistleblower protection.
I mean, it's cool that there's this much support behind disclosure, that we're seeing these things pop up left and right. We're seeing our people in Congress who are actually pushing to get things disclosed. I hope it happens. I hope all this comes to fruition.
Yeah, we need all the support we can get, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Luis Elizondo, Christopher Mellon, Gary Nolan, and Carl Nell. It's their fund.
Nice.
This is for basically the 2025 National Defense Authorization Act. Oh, you can sign a petition supporting this legislation.
Sign it. Don't deny it.
Exactly. There's Nolan, there's Mellon, there's Elizondo. Elizondo's got a book coming out, right?
He does.
October?
We talked about it a little last week or the week before.
Yeah, I think October.
Nice.
So that's good to see. Wow, we're almost at 2 hours. Oh, here's that book.
Flying Saucers and Alien Abductions. New book explores history of UFOs after the flying saucers came.
Interesting. Who? Greg Agigian.
Oh, yeah, good luck. The end of the Second World War ushered in a new age, one dominated by novel technologies, the Cold War, the threat of nuclear destruction, and the first reported UFO sightings. Yeah, see, here we go. First sentence. Humans have witnessed strange aerial events since ancient times, but what makes UFOs unique is that the term unidentified flying object represents both a concept and a theory. Yeah, I agree with that. That's why they changed it to UAP.
Right. And because it has so much baggage come with it. Gigian. I wonder if he's Armenian.
Human beings have always tried to unpack mysterious phenomena. Ain't that the truth? That's why we've got 1,000 shows about ghost hunting, UFO hunting.
So many.
Bigfoot hunting. That's why the occult exists. It's why we're obsessed with what happens after death. Things like that. I mean, that's a very true statement. I 100% agree. Wow, that's a screenshot right there.
Penn State. Who's this guy in his new book? That's him. You want to listen to him?
We're kind of low on time. Let's keep
All right.
moving. But yeah, you guys can check out the interview here, and I'd be on the lookout for this book.
It's this one. Here we have DARPA project uses AI to flag space weapons, spy satellites. Sure, that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So I guess these guys uses AI, but I mean, I guess they'll know what's a friend satellite, what's not a friend satellite, what's a dangerous one, what's not.
Yeah, you'd hope so. That's what I was. So again, going back to the Y-Files, he was talking about AI, and I think it was China was using AI to test their pilots, right?
Okay.
We actually talked about this on the show months back, where the AI ended up attacking the the controller, right?
Yeah,
the tower, because they don't have morality. They said, okay, my mission is to shoot down planes. This person is not letting me shoot down planes, so clearly he's an enemy. It's binary. But so that's what this kind of reminds me of. And you said, how does the AI has to figure out if it's good or bad. But let's say a good satellite makes an unscheduled turn because of who knows what maintenance or something. They have to focus on a certain thing, and the AI goes, whoa, this one's out of control, we got to shoot it down.
Yeah, and are we just going to listen to it?
And AI lacks context also sometimes.
Oh, of course, definitely. Yeah, like no empathy and lacks context. So, but it'll do anything to abide by its mission, right? So these guys, they're called Slingshot Aerospace, a California-based space technology firm, to create an AI system that identifies anomalous satellites within these large constellations. Because China is launching also large constellations like SpaceX. Like Starlink. The company unveiled its model, dubbed Agatha, on June 5th. That's Agartha, announcing that it had demonstrated the ability to detect outlier satellites among operational constellations. Here, see the Chinese government.
They have plans to launch. The Chinese government has announced plans to launch 2 mega constellations in the coming years, comprised of tens of thousands of satellites, a bid to rival Elon Musk's SpaceX, whose network of Starlink communication satellites include more than 6,000 operational spacecraft.
Oh my God, enough satellites up there, man.
I was just going to say, they've been complaining about too many satellites in orbit for like a decade now, or like even longer than that.
Yeah, now they're just it's crazy how many they're up there. Seriously. I mean, I know we're watching them all, but it's like ruining radio astronomy, even just normal astronomy. These things are always streaking across the sky.
It's pretty cool when you are able to catch one with the naked eye. It happens every once in a while at night.
Yeah, I've seen some too. There's some good apps out there too that tell you which ones you're seeing. Night vision lenses so thin and light that we can all see in the dark.
Whoa.
Yeah. Lightweight glasses that let us see in the dark could change how we work and play after hours.
That would be nice. My eyes are starting to not be so good in the dark.
Yeah, that's age for you.
Yep.
So they're probably the usual $300?
I'm assuming so. Again, I'll wait for version 3 and then I'll end up buying version 1 during that time when it's on sale.
Really cool. I mean, these supposedly came from Roswell, according to the day after Roswell.
Hold on, we back up really quick. Right there. They used metasurface-based up conversion technology. I have no idea what that means, which essentially provides an easier pathway for light photons to be processed. The photons travel through a resonant metasurface where they mingle with a pump beam. Hopefully that means something to somebody out there listening. The non-local, okay. Here, listen to this sentence.
Lithium niobate.
The non-local lithium niobate metasurface boosts the energy of the photons and draws them into the visible light spectrum without the need to convert them to electrons first. I kind of get that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It also doesn't require cryogenic cooling, which reduces noise for sharper images in traditional night vision, so can do away with even more of the bulky night vision goggle mechanics.
That's really cool. That is really cool.
Yeah.
I would love to get these. Can we buy them? Where? Source, advanced material. They're not really linking to anything yet.
I imagine this is military applications first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because those night vision goggles are pretty clunky.
They're very clunky. I'm not seeing. Oh, is the researchers from the ARC in Australia? Okay, but there's no company yet.
So it's just a theory. Still, though,
Yeah,
I mean,
not
all right.
commercialized yet. Exactly.
Cool.
All right, there's another one that we sent each other. Some research: humans may be able to grow new teeth
within just 6 years. Yeah, I was telling my parents about this. I believe it's in Japan. They just got approval to start human trials on this.
Yeah.
You can regrow your teeth, which would be nice, especially being as I'm dealing with a tooth issue now.
Well, especially when people get older, they lose their teeth, you know.
It happens. I mean, think about how much you do with how much eating we do, not as Americans, obviously as Americans, but as just a species. We're always clicking our teeth together.
Yeah, and people grind their teeth and they break their teeth and they don't grow back. So this is really, really cool. And I sent you to them, like, are they going to have something where they grow back hair? I mean, it's the same thing if it's a gene that they found.
And this is what I said when I saw. I think I said this to you in response. I said, "How in the world did they get to teeth before they got to hair?"
Exactly, and it's probably a much bigger market.
Yeah.
So where is it? I think they found a gene, right, that they block something. Years of study. Here it is. Okay, so this development follows years of study around a particular antibody named uterine sensitization associated gene 1, USAG1, which has been shown to inhibit the growth of teeth in ferrets and mice. Back in 2021, scientists from the Kyoto University, who will also be involved in future human trials, discovered a monoclonal antibody, a technique usually used in fighting cancer, that disrupted the interaction between USAG1 and molecules known as bone morphogenetic protein, or BMP.
So that paragraph is pretty interesting, and this is the kind of thing that makes me think humans were artificially created.
Yeah.
We have these things in our DNA that, like it says there, it stops you from being able to grow teeth. It's the same thing with our cells. That's why we get old. They eventually break down because I think it's
programmed to
telomeres. We're programmed to, and so it's interesting the upcoming future. I mean, who knows? Maybe in 50 years we'll all be magically genetically enhanced to all look 30 and live to be 10,000 years old. I mean, that'd be a nightmare, but
I mean, yeah, but basically it's that death is a choice, right? Maybe people just want to go until they're sick of it, and they're like, all right, I'm ready to go now.
I'm out. I'm out.
I'm out. Thank you. It's been fun. But yeah, I mean, if you remember, like the World Economic Forum and that Noah Harari guy and Klaus Schwab and Musk too, he's part of that, where you can upload your consciousness and your body can be switched over. I mean, look at these androids now. They're strong. They can jump. They can. So I mean, theoretically, if you can transfer someone's just brain, I guess, to something like that, not really upload consciousness, but transfer their brain over, would that work? Theoretically.
I don't see why not. Well, okay, so there was a science fiction movie that Bruce Willis was in. It wasn't very good. I think it was called Surrogates, where basically you get into a machine in your apartment and then the android version of you walks out and you're living through that android. So no one, you have no chance of getting hurt or getting sick because it's not, you're in this little tube in your house or apartment or whatever. Have you seen that?
I never saw it, but I remember the preview, and it's these people in their chairs right at home, like in their lazy boys,
something like that.
They're plugged in or something.
Yeah, I mean it's the same concept. We're not. I don't think we're that far off from that being a reality.
Agreed. No, I don't think we are either.
But again, tying it back into, we talked about that Roswell story earlier. It's essentially the same process. The fifth dimensional creature is controlling the little gray biomechanical thing that's not bio or mechanical, and using it as an avatar.
Yeah, the whole idea of Avatar is pretty crazy.
I've never seen Avatar.
No, are you kidding? The first one is really cool. I didn't mind the second one. I thought it was a beautiful looking movie, but the plot of the first one, there's nothing like it. No, you have to watch it.
It's just Pocahontas in space. I had no interest. I had no interest when it came out, and I just never got around to watching it. And I don't know. I mean, I know the visuals look cool, and it was in 3D back when 3D was a thing.
It was 3D. They did upgrade. It's a new version. I think director's cut or something. Is an extra 40 minutes in there.
I think the director said he's got like 5 movies planned or something.
You're
even though it took
kidding
him
me.
like 15 years to come out with the second one.
Yeah, and did that one like gross as much money as the first one?
The first one was like a freaking cultural phenomenon. It was
$2
everywhere.
billion or something. He made.
And then the second one kind of just came and went. I don't remember hearing or seeing people super excited about the second one, but
yeah, it was fine.
Everyone was talking about the first one. Everyone.
Oh yeah, especially with the way he used 3D. It was really cool.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. You sent me this guy. I've seen this video before, but I forget in which context. And I guess he's a prepper or something, right? Off the grid.
Like that, yeah. I think it's a joke, obviously, but it's
right.
Very funny.
It is funny.
My lawyer just called and asked if I was ready for court tomorrow. So yeah, I ain't going. See, I've been spending the last 6 months booby trapping my entire 500 acres. I got snake pits, rolling logs, bear traps. I got some straight up Indiana Jones shit. I got a fucking boulder that'll fall down when you open my front door. I got about 120 coyotes that I trained to bite anything with a crew cut and a fucking badge. I flew an old Vietnamese man out here and he helped me dig about 12 miles worth of underground tunnels. I have 450 cameras I've rigged to solar panels all around this motherfucker. I got a Bengal tiger locked in my bathroom who fucking killed for a pork chop right now. You know, it's surprisingly easy to teach a raccoon how to loosen lug nuts and cut brake lines. I'd rather live the rest of my life in the woods living off fucking wild ginseng creek water than go to fucking jail one more time. I don't even try to bring no helicopters down here neither, like I ain't got a whole fucking coop full of pigeons with C4 tied around their feet. Got a bunch of PVC pipe full of gunpowder and ball bearings and a baboon who is deadly accurate with a nail gun.
He knows what he's talking about, dude. That's hilarious.
Very funny.
Yeah, I love the pigeons with C4 tied on their feet.
It just gets like more and more outlandish as he goes. I think the way it grows is really funny.
I don't believe Trump in this clip.
I don't either.
Let's take a listen. So he's asked here about the 9/11, JFK, and Epstein files. So you guys can make your own decision on this. Let's take a listen.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you?
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah.
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 Hold on. Back it up. You got to listen to his full statement. He says, "Yeah, but some of it."
Oh,
I think
wait.
you go even further than that.
Attorney General.
What? Wait.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you?
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Attorney General.
So in the full clip, this doesn't
Yeah.
show it, but he says, yeah, and then when he gets to Epstein, he goes, yeah, well, some of it. He
Would you
continues
declassify
saying,
the
I
9/11?
wouldn't want to hurt people who are affected, which is kind of ridiculous.
Which is his circle, probably.
Mhm.
You know, because he wished. What's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. He wished her well when they asked him about her when she was.
She's a
being
good
indicted.
lady. I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
I can't do a Trump impression. Not even worth it. Everyone does a Trump impression nowadays.
Damn, we're at 2 minutes. We have Fauci basically. We have a clip from Thomas Massey talking to Tucker about APAC. I mean, nothing UFO stuff.
Let's see if we can bust through it in just a couple minutes. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time.
We'll do it quickly. What's this one here? Okay, this is Massey. This is crazy clip. I mean, he's going to be in so much trouble. Although he says everyone loves him. But here, let's listen to it.
Is the right vote, but I would just take too much flack back home. And I have Republicans who come to me and say, that's wrong what AIPAC is doing to you. Let me talk to my AIPAC person. By the way, everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC. They're probably a constituent in your district, but they are, firmly embedded in AIPAC. And
every member has something like this?
I don't know how it works on the Democrat side, but that's how it works on the Republican side. And when they come to DC, you go have lunch with them, and they've got your cell number, and you have conversations with them. So I've had
that's absolutely crazy.
I've had 4 members of Congress say, "I'll talk to my AIPAC person," And like, it's literally what we call them, my APAC guy. I'll talk to my APAC guy and see if I can get him to, dial those ads back.
Why have I never heard this before?
It doesn't benefit anybody. Why would they want to tell their constituents that they've basically got a buddy system with somebody who's representing a foreign country? It doesn't benefit the congressman for people to know that, so they're not going to tell you that.
Have you seen any other country do anything like this? Like
No.
Russia obviously determines the outcome of our elections. We keep hearing that. Does anyone have a Putin guy that they talk to?
Not only do they not have a Putin guy, look, they don't have a Britain guy. They don't have an Australian guy. They don't have a Germany dude. Like, it's the only country that does this, that has somebody that like uniformly. I guarantee there's some spreadsheet at APAC where the APAC dude who's matched up with the congressman is there, and then all the congressman's votes on the issue. Oh, has the congressman been to Israel? They pay for trips for congressmen and their spouses to go to Israel. I'm not the only Republican who hasn't taken the APAC trip to Israel, but I'm probably one of a dozen that hasn't taken that trip, and the other ones just haven't got around to it.
Look at his face.
It's weird watching a suicide in slow motion like this. Yeah, I mean, it's completely. Well, I'll say it. It's fucked.
It's so corrupted.
This whole operation. It's very corrupt. It's
and occupied. Basically, we're an occupied country. We have a foreign government telling our congressmen what.
Yeah, the U.S. is now Western Israel.
Yeah, and he also says on another clip that there were 16 bills in April for Israel. He goes, we didn't even do 16 bills for the United States.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's anyone who actually can come at this objectively sees how messed up the relationship with Israel is.
It doesn't help us. It doesn't.
No.
Yeah, all this bring us problems. There's nothing wrong with supporting them, right? And saying yes, but just this complete support, like they can do whatever they want. Yeah, exactly. Take our money, take our weapons. We won't say anything. Do whatever you want with it. It's crazy.
It'd be one thing if it was always, Israel's always getting beat up on by all the other countries and stuff. And yeah, of course, there are skirmishes at the border and things like that. But like, I think about the USS?
Liberty.
Was it Liberty, the one that Israel knowingly knew it was the U.S. ship and attacked it, and they were planning to blame it on Jordan so they can invade Jordan.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
Johnson covered it up. He says we don't want to embarrass an ally. He knew that they knew what they were doing. They and it wasn't an accident. They were shooting on that ship for 2 hours. Actually, today might be yesterday was. Yesterday was the anniversary.
I mean, it's they're. Again, it's not an anti-Semitism thing. There's no problem with the Jewish people, but it's just the Zionist movement and the government is just sickening.
Yeah, they've bankrupted us. I mean, at least can we take care of ourselves for at least like a month? Give us a month. We're not even allowed 16 bills in April for Israel. I mean, and it's all about censorship. It's all about taking away our free speech, censoring Americans, criminalizing Americans. Saying we support them as much. We gave them another $24 billion, which is on top of the $3.8 billion on all the weapons. I mean, it's just complete fleecing.
Well, and hell, I mean, look at the most recent thing. Biden said, "Hey, don't cross this line, Israel, or we'll take away your funding." What did they do? And then what did they get? They crossed the line and they got funding.
Did you see that pier that we built?
Yeah, we talked about it last week, actually.
No, but you see that the Israelis used it now?
I didn't see that.
To invade. Yeah, to invade and kill Palestinians.
Shocker.
Instead of, because it was supposed to be to provide food, and they ended up murdering.
Shocker. I mean, Jesus Christ.
So Fauci, there was some he was questioned in Congress, and yeah, he really got a beating. He looks old. It might be an act too. He probably didn't wear makeup.
Is this where he's crying about his family being threatened and everything?
No, that's another one. You want to do that one instead?
No.
Because it's funny. That one's funny. I mean, not funny.
All 5'2" of them.
Yeah, but here he's being grilled.
Yeah, you can be removed. Actually, I now recognize Dr. Jackson from Texas
He
for
looks
5
older.
minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Fauci, I have to say, I, as so many Americans, am deeply disappointed in your actions during a critical time in our nation's history while you were in key leadership roles as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease and as the chief medical advisor to President Biden. Put quite simply, you failed miserably, in my opinion. Based on all we have learned during the pandemic and all that we have since learned through this committee's work, I believe your failures stem from both an effort of self-preservation, manifested by a series of lies and cover-up, and by a total failure of leadership. It was obvious to everyone that you and your organization, NIH, had a lot to lose if the American people were to discover that COVID-19 was most likely leaked from a lab in Wuhan, China, and that you, via EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak, actually funded this research, and that this lab was actively and recklessly conducting gain-of-function research. As such, you did everything in your power to deflect and cover up this possibility. You even recruited others to help you in this effort. Unfortunately, this cost our country and the world valuable time that may have led to answers regarding the origin, may have blunted the spread, and would have almost certainly saved lives. While I think most of us have known all along what I just described, what I have been appalled to discover through sworn testimony to this committee is the level at which you and those that worked for you went to cover up the obvious. Just a few examples, and I know these have been touched on, but they're important for everyone to hear. Dr. Lawrence Tabak, former acting director of NIH, testified that under the generic definition that NIH did in fact fund gain-of-function research. This was based on a definition that was initially used by NIH and a definition that was abandoned and removed from the website in October of 2021 and replaced by a new, much more detailed definition with a much higher bar that you have since conveniently used to define gain-of-function testing and to deny what Dr. Tabak has since confirmed. He also said that EcoHealth Alliance failed to properly and promptly report that their research violated the terms of the grant, something that went completely unaddressed under your watch. Dr. Moran's, your senior advisor, who you have tried today to distance yourself from, but whose large volume of emails clearly demonstrate that you had a very close and personal relationship with, and who reported to you directly, has openly bragged about how he subverted FOIA requests. I remind you that the law requires you and your former organization to comply with Freedom of Information Act requests. It is not optional. If you or your employees or your organization that you oversaw were systemically avoiding transparency and illegally hiding or destroying documents that rightfully belong to the American people, then you should be criminally charged and they should as well. In addition, Dr. Gregory Folkers, your chief of staff, also engaged in illegal practices in which he crafted messages using symbols instead of letters to avoid FOIA exposure. In an email, April 2020, from Dr. Moran's to Peter Daszak, he says, quote, "There are things I can't say." Well, I wonder what he couldn't say. He also went on to say, quote, "Except Tony is aware, and I have learned there are ongoing efforts within NIH to steer through this with minimal damage to you, Peter, and colleagues, and to NIH and NAID," end quote. And then a few days later, he said, quote, "I have reason to believe that there are already efforts going on to protect you," end quote. In February of 20...
Man, that is so corrupt. They were destroying emails. They were putting
Using
symbols.
code.
Yeah, using code.
Well,
they were using personal emails.
I mean, this guy has not been popular since the 80s. I remember, I don't remember, but reading about all the stuff he was doing with AIDS during that time, I mean, he's not a good guy.
No, he's not. He's
and
not.
it just corrupt to the core. And I'm glad he's finally getting taken down, but it's just way too late. And
yeah,
again,
nothing's going to happen to him.
This is a huge shout out to everyone who said trust the science and you're a bigot or you're stupid if you believe there was gain of function or it came from a lab or something.
Right.
You know, all the conspiracy theories that you were called, you know, names for are all coming true. And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and the media gaslit everyone. There's no apology. No one is taking responsibility for it. You know, COVID was such a horrible time.
It's a good wake up for a lot of people, though. I mean, I feel like I was awake before that, but now it definitely cemented my feelings.
Oh, for sure. And it did wake up a lot of people. And the media is never going to come back from it. I mean, if they apologize, seriously, if they really sincerely apologize, then maybe they can gain the trust of people again. But other than that, forget it.
Or if they changed any of their methodology for reporting, and just being truthful, that would change the public's opinion. But there's a reason why newspapers and these news networks keep firing all their hosts and closing down. I just read a great article, about the New York Post changing hands, and the new guy that came in said, you guys suck, and that's why we're clearing house. And of course, everyone's outraged.
Yeah, because they lost 50% of their viewership.
Yeah, it's like, well,
right?
Start doing a good job. I mean,
Exactly.
That's all it comes down to.
Tell
the truth and stop caring about, like that was one of the things from the article that just amazed me. Is one of the first questions this guy was asked when he came in was, well, we don't have enough diversity in the office, and it's just like, you should be caring about the news. What are you going to do about the lack of diversity in leadership, I think was the question.
So stupid.
And it's just like, what are you doing to make the news more palatable and actually like important to people? Nothing.
It's because they hide behind that, what I mean? So, and they make that an issue instead of doing their jobs. So this is a really funny clip. Well, at least the guy behind Fauci. So,
I saw that he was making crybaby faces behind him. Yeah, it was great.
Dr. Fauci tears up during congressional testimony. So, of course, the Democrats love this guy. So they're just, giving him easy questions.
Dr. Fauci, can you please share with us the nature of the threats you have received since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yes.
This guy right here.
Everything from harassments by emails, texts, letters, of myself, my wife, my 3 daughters. There have been credible death threats leading to the arrests of 2 individuals. And credible death threats mean someone who clearly was on their way to kill me. And it's required my having protective services essentially all the time. It is very troublesome to me. It is much more troublesome because they've involved my wife and my 3 daughters.
At these moments, how do you feel? Keep your mic on.
Terrible.
Do you continue to receive threats today?
Yes, I do. Every time someone gets up and says I'm responsible for the death of people throughout the world, the death threats go up.
Okay,
Well,
first of all,
sorry.
don't send death threats, people. Don't do that.
No.
But I love how he wraps it up. Well, people are saying, I'm responsible for the deaths of you. You are responsible, you fucking asshole.
Yeah. Like, why don't you try not doing that? Then people won't be upset.
Like, no wonder you're getting death threats. Like, so many people had to watch their family members die and would die from a distance. It's just, and who knows who knows what the full cultural impact is going to be? All the kids who were in school during COVID, I mean, they're, athletes, everything else, the forced vaccines, stuff like that. I mean, who knows what the full impact is going to be?
I mean, I think we've lost IQ. Children have, after they were out of school for 2 years, they have behavioral problems, they have emotional problems. Our IQ went down in the country. Our what is it called when people that term when how long people live, that went down from 80, I think,
expected life.
Life expectancy went down also to 76 or 74, something like that. So and forget what the problems what caused. But look at this. I mean, boo-hoo. Fauci's agency raked in $690 million from Big Pharma in the wake of pandemic lockdowns.
Yeah.
That is not chump change right there.
No, it's so frustrating to see. I mean, he does everything he can in his power to make himself look like the victim, and everything we've seen, and he is far from the victim. Far from the victim.
He made a lot of money, him and his staff, and they were incentivized, to cover up ivermectin, to cover up hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah, again, two things that have been used to help people for many, many years, and they turned it into horse dewormer and bleach.
Yep, and because it's not profitable, and these guys who work at NIAID, they worked with Moderna on patenting the vaccine, so that's why they all made this money. They were all kickbacks, so they're incentivized to silence anyone who was against, or not against, who was for other remedies to COVID. You know, if you had people talking about vitamin D and ivermectin and these things, they were censored and called quacks.
Yeah,
And yeah.
And I was gonna say, and the media went right along with it. I mean, I'll still never forget when Joe Rogan posted on Instagram that he had COVID and he was taking measures and yada yada yada. CNN reposted his video and put a tint on his video to make him look like he was green. There's no way to accidentally do that.
No. It was so evil. And here they are. They're deleting emails. This Morenz guy inappropriately deleted records, colluded with government officials to evade transparency requests, and used private email for government business. I was not aware that anything I deleted, like emails, was a federal record. What?
Just, I hate these people. I really do.
Yeah, just so they can make their millions. You know, I mean, the thing is, your millions are not going to mean anything when you're destroying the government. You know, it's going to take down everything.
Well, what we really should do, in my opinion, people like Fauci, people like his partners, we not only fire them and jail them, take away all of the money, everything. I know all of it goes into like they're not like liquid, so then you can't just show up at the bank and pull out a big pile of money. You have to sell shares in companies and stuff like that. But I honestly think that's what the IRS should do with these people instead of going after Joe Schmo who didn't pay $150 of his taxes this year. Why not take money from these idiots? They don't deserve it.
Why are they making? Why are they
lied to get it?
Why are they all millionaires? They're public officials. They're there to serve the public. They're not there to get rich. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. Like someone now wants to become a politician or a bureaucrat just so they can become rich. That's what it's all become about. Not about serving the public and serving the country. It's not that anymore. It's like, how much money can I make with my knowledge or my position?
Exactly. This is great. I mean, I was watching this live, not as it was happening because people were posting it all over X and Reddit. And I mean, okay. So
he is looking for a chair though, right? I looked at it.
So he's looking for a chair. I don't know. He's looking for a chair. Obviously his wife scolds him and tells him to stand up. And then she whisks him off stage, but I don't see a chair anywhere in this video.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is really sad. You want to watch the video?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Oh,
distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin.
Oh my God! All right, it cuts. All right, so he is. It looks like he's looking for something.
If he's looking for a chair, you'd think he'd turn around. He's just like crouched over, looking straight at his feet. That's why I think people are going like, "Well, he definitely shit himself."
President Biden just pooped himself. This is the exact same motion my toddler makes. Too bad it was on stage at the D-Day ceremony in Normandy. Man, it's so embarrassing. Apparently, Macron is going to lose.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I don't imagine he's very popular over there.
Yeah, they did exit polls, and Le Pen, which is a far right party, looks like they're going to win.
I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. This is just the pendulum swinging to the other direction.
And then we always see that.
In about 5 or 10 years, it's going to be the people who are left, as far left as you can get, are going to take power because the public is going to be taught, hey, look at all these Nazis on the right, and it's just going to go back and forth,
right back to there.
More
exactly.
extreme each time.
Speaking of the pendulum, this is a great meme that you send. I love this meme too. It's the circle of AI life. You want to go through this?
Humanity researches AI. Humanity perfects AI. AI perfects itself. That's the scary part. AI enslaves humanity. Solar flare disables AI. Humanity worships sun god. The cycle begins again.
Yeah, over and over. I love how AI create the pyramids, though. They show the AI.
Yeah,
controlling us here.
The cloud.
So funny, so funny. And
anyway, good stuff.
Good stuff. And then we have this as comedy. We can end with.
Oh, this one's funny. This poor guy.
Poor guy, man. Here we go. It's
wait, make sure the volume's on. Make sure the volume's on.
Oh yeah. So he's just going out to work. It looks like in the morning, right?
And the subtitle is "This is what being over 40 feels like."
happened?
Poor guy.
What did you do? What happened? Oh,
He just this
yeah,
poor,
you dented the fuck out of your truck. Oh, you need me to call an ambulance? What did you do? No.
poor guy. He's
Well, I
walking
know
out of
you
his house with a drink in his hand, and he trips. But he does that thing where he trips. It's not just one trip. He trips forward, takes several steps, and just takes a header right into his front fender on his truck.
And his drink explodes. So not only does he trip and then hit his head into his truck, but his entire drink explodes. Like
Well, the
you
whole
can see, like,
thing is
all
just-
right, I'm ready.
The whole thing is absolutely hilarious because the first thing the wife asks is, "What did you do?" Not, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Because he sounds like he's been shot or broke a leg or something.
What
He's
did
on
you
the
do?
pound. He's on the ground, writhing in pain, screaming, and his wife goes, "What did you do?"
What happened? What did you do?
Yeah, what did you do? Like, now, are you okay?
What happened?
They got a
bulldog there.
Yeah.
And her
Yeah, you
reaction.
dented the fuck out of your truck. Oh, you need me to call an ambulance?
You dented the fuck out of your truck.
Anyway, poor guy. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, that was funny. Whew, well, we're at 2 hours 25 minutes. I mean, it went by quick, but my
Yeah,
God.
we had a lot to cover this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
and a lot that we can even do deep dives on. There's a couple of them in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really cool.
If we ever get to the point where we can do like 2 shows a week, we could do a regular episode like this and then do a deep dive on the side. That'd be fun.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea because we do gather a lot of data information during the week, and
Yeah,
some
that's-
are worthy of like actually going in deep dives. That's not a bad idea.
That's
to
the
keep
tough
them-
part. I mean, we always talk about doing deep dives, but honestly, every time we do, there's a ton of news stories that happen during the week that we feel that
Yeah.
we have to cover.
Exactly, and that we'll miss it.
kind of what our niche is. So, that's what we want to bring to the people, to you
Yes.
all listening.
Yeah, and a lot of people find us when they put in UAP news and UFO news. So they do find us that way, and it is, like you said, it is a niche that we do. But I have noticed that I think people maybe might like a more focused episodes, and that's what people like interviews too, because it's kind of focused on a person
Mhm.
and what they do. But I think it adds a lot of value too, especially if you're not really following it and you're busy with your day job. It's a weekly update of what's going on in the world of UFOs and UAP and military secrets.
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know, maybe we could try the 2 like do a Wednesday episode and maybe I don't know, we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I can
When we
make the
do a
week
deep
one.
dive on one subject because yeah, you're right. I mean, everything that we've talked about today, we can essentially do a deep dive on.
Yeah, a lot like Geldrick stuff. We can do a deep dive on. There was even McKinnon, because there's a lot of stuff he did.
Oh yeah, yeah. Gary McKinnon would be fun.
Yeah, it wasn't just that,
Majestic
but-
12 we could talk about for years.
Oh, I would love that. Because have you been on the Majestic 12 Documents website?
I have, yeah.
So cool. I love their stuff like in the 40s, like the Einstein Oppenheimer letter.
Mhm. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
really
there's
cool.
a lot of juicy tidbits in there.
There is, yeah.
I do not have anything for Topher's Media Corner. I'm still watching and reading The Expanse.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't really been, a lot of hectic stuff going on in my personal life that I'm dealing with. Hopefully, it gets to slow down a little bit after this week.
That'd be good.
Yeah, nice change of pace.
Have you watched Succession?
I haven't. I've heard it's really good. That's the one that's on
It is,
HBO,
yeah.
right?
Yes, it's on HBO. It's really
Yeah,
good. It's
I've heard that's really good.
Yeah, you would like it. I don't know why I didn't want to watch it before. I think because it was like glorifying billionaires, which I hate to do,
Mhm.
but it doesn't really. But it just gives you like a hint into how psycho they are, which can be funny because they're all narcissists.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know the show's about a guy, like an older guy who's looking to retire, and he owns a really big company, right? And he's the other members
Yep.
of the family are vying for his position at the top.
Yep, exactly, and it's loosely based on Murdoch.
Yeah, that doesn't
And
surprise
Fox
me.
and his empire. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you all so much for listening to episode 75 of the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. That is I Want to Know Adam, and he's going to tell you where you can find us.
Well, everyone, you can find us on X. Our handle is UAP the podcast. Hit us up there. Anything you want us to cover, we will cover it. Yeah, you can get in touch with us. We're pretty active on our main account. I'm at Breakaway Civil. That's my personal account, and Topher is at Topher et al. We're on all podcasting platforms, so you can listen to us. We're mostly on Spotify, though. That is our headquarters there. But then we syndicate to Apple, Google, which is YouTube Music now, iHeart. I saw people listen to us from iHeart Podcast. Anyway, we're on all those platforms.
And give us some YouTube views. YouTube does not like us for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, we do really well on Rumble and BitChute. So we're on those platforms. We're on Odyssey. No one even watches us on Odyssey. Maybe Odyssey doesn't have traffic. But YouTube is sad, man. And so, you guys can just go in there, like our videos, subscribe to us. It really helps with the algorithm. I mean, people are finding us there. So it's not like they're not finding us. It's just, compared to the interest in the subject and what we cover here. I mean, there's lots of things we cover here that people don't cover until after like a week or two. So, it is breaking news when it comes to UFO and UAP. And you will usually hear it here first. So
definitely. And as always, give us some feedback. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and tell a friend about the show. Someone who's interested in UAPs and conspiracies that won't get too easily offended by some of our opinions.
Exactly. And our shows are now, pretty much going on 2 hours, which is great to listen to when you're doing stuff. If you're just doing any, I don't want to say mundane, but something like I always listen to podcasts when I'm doing stuff on websites, when I'm just copying and pasting. I love listening to podcasts because then it just helps me get through that. But if I was like stocking like shelves or stuff like that, or delivering, or podcasts would be great, especially like long ones, like hours like this. The 2 hours will go by quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't tell my boss, but I'm always listening to podcasts and audiobooks at work because my job is pretty monotonous. It's the same thing every day, minus a wrench or two here and there thrown in.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. So, like I said, that is Adam, and I am, and we want to thank you all so much for listening. Check us out every Sunday, and we will see you all next week.
See you all next week.